Today's episode comes to you from the Blue Chew Studio. Right now, when you buy 2 months of Blue Chew Gold, you get the third for free with promo code WRESTLE at BlueChew.com.
Welcome to Something to Wrestle With.
Something to wrestle with.
Bruce Prichard. Well, you know.
That's not a rib.
No, yeah, but me.
There's no box of gimmicks.
Rumor and innuendo.
I don't deal in rumor and innuendo. And was he there? I was there. I don't give a shit.
Welcome to Something to Wrestle With.
Something to wrestle
Something
with.
to wrestle with.
Something to wrestle with. Bruce Prichard.
Conrad the Mortgage Guy, and you're listening to Something to Wrestle With John Layfield. What's going on, John? How are you?
Yes, sir. Bradshaw 316 says I just stole your fucking podcast.
Well, I ain't mad at that. And we are excited to be here chopping it up, talking about WrestleMania, the highest grossing WrestleMania of all time.
Wow.
Probably not a surprise. The beat goes on. They have set records year after year after year. It's even been noted that Saturday was the most watched telecast of the year on ESPN2. And Sunday was the most watched telecast of the entire weekend on ESPN. But they set records everywhere between the gate, the sponsorship, the merchandise, World, On Location, which is their VIP experience, even digital. Probably no surprise. This ESPN partnership and Netflix for the rest of the world. This was as big as it gets for WWE this past weekend, don't you think?
Absolutely. Yeah. Unbelievable. I mean, you look at everything that they're doing, and some people, want to gripe about that. Some people want to gripe about, the transition into more sponsorships. And look, I've always said this. I was in pro wrestling. Pro wrestling sucked. I was in sports entertainment. That paid very well. It also had healthcare that you could get. It's completely different, by the way. So all those things that are doing right now, I think it's absolutely awesome what they're doing, and they're printing money, which is fantastic.
We do want to talk about some of the matches, but what we really want to talk about is some of the controversy. I don't know if you saw this, John. I really want to ask you what your experience was like, but we're hearing a lot of reports that the WWE talent felt like they did not have adequate security. And there's been some footage that even made its way to TMZ. I think a lot of the talent were staying at Park MGM. And from what I understand, listen, if it's a casino property, they make you walk through the casino floor to try to entice you to go gaming before you can get to the elevator bank to your room. And that's great for the casino business, but maybe not great if you're going to have to get through a massive humanity in order to get to your room. Did you have any issues? I saw a report from Booker T who said he had a fan follow him and film him in the bathroom, John.
Yeah, I saw that from Booker. That's crazy. And I understand something like this happens. Fans get carried away, and they shouldn't do that. They should be stopped when they do something like that. There should be somebody there to police that. A fan should know better than that, though. A fan should know better than filming somebody in the bathroom. Come on, that's basic human knowledge. It's not something that you should have to have security for. But if I understand if a fan is that bad, you might need security for something like that. I had none. There were a lot of fans. I stayed in the WrestleCon hotel, which was a horseshoe hotel. They were fantastic. The fans were very, very nice, and didn't have any issue whatsoever. I saw the issues that some of the wrestlers had, and they did have those issues, but I didn't have any.
Do you
Maybe I'm just not famous enough. Maybe nobody gives a shit about me. Tell you what, though, I had a lot of people tell me Bradshaw 316, and I appreciate all you guys for telling me that. Thank you very much. A lot of people came up. Me and Ron were there, and all weekend, so many people came up to me and said, Bradshaw 316, I just stole your fucking podcast, and I appreciate it. So thank all you guys for coming up.
Super fun. Glad to hear that you guys had fun. Of course, WrestleCon was the place to be, and I feel like if you're that type of fan or you're going to WrestleCon, you sort of understand your time to interact and get your face time with the wrestlers is when you're inside the convention. I don't think I've ever seen anybody have any real issues at WrestleCon, unless maybe you're Big Vito, but that's a story for another day. But I do feel like at maybe the WWE company hotel, perhaps they weren't able to police it as well. I know in years past, it's typically not been at a casino. Like in Dallas, for instance, there's usually hotel security guards who are there sort of monitoring who's really a hotel guest and who's not. Well, that dynamic obviously changes if it's a casino. I mean, hey, it's come one, come all. We want you to come play some games and that sort of thing. I don't think they're going to go back to Vegas anytime soon. So I don't imagine that this will be an issue moving forward. But did you ever, when you think back through your career, did you ever have a fan get too familiar and it created a situation that you had to handle? And can you share that with us if so?
No, not too bad. You know, I told you this story about WrestleMania when I went to the bathroom, and the bathroom was a public restroom. It wasn't a private restroom like I thought it was, and people were literally taking selfies with me while I'm taking a leak. But it was my fault for going to a public restroom in the middle of WrestleMania. You know, I thought that the bathroom was private. That's what they told me it was. And so during WrestleMania, you know, me and Michael Cole used to be out there and have to go for 5-6 hours without being able to go to the bathroom. Well, I found the bathroom, you know, that was right by the arena floor, and they told me it was private. So I go during a video break to the bathroom, which I didn't tell Michael about. I was ribbing him. And I get in there, and there's like 70 people in a bathroom that should have 40 people in it. And then I was like, JBL. And I'm like, and I've told you the story. You know, I said, guys, I'm sorry. I got to be back out there in 2 minutes. And I said, can I cut in front of all of you? Because I've got to go. And the whole bathroom is going, let him pee. So I'm going up to the bathroom, and I'm in my tuxedo, and I'm taking a leak, and people are taking selfies with me. So I'm like, but that's my fault for being a dumbass and not realizing that it was a public restroom. But no, I never had, you know, there's been some times where some fans have been a little bit intoxicated and been a little bit overboard, but no, I've never had any real issue with fans.
I do want your opinion. I don't know if you saw the footage, but a lot of people have a strong opinion about the TMZ footage that's come out. I guess it was AJ Lee exchanging an embrace with Bailey. Bailey sort of pushed the fans' camera away, saying, hey, get out of here. They're having a private moment. He continued to film and was trying to force himself into the conversation, I guess. Well, the real life Phil Brooks came over and slapped the phone out of his hand, or the camera, whatever it may be. And now there's a discussion about what should have happened there. Did you see the footage? Do you have an opinion?
Yeah, I did. I don't blame him. That's his wife, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. He's taking care of his wife. He's protecting her, and I think I would have done probably the same thing. Right or wrong, I have no idea if it's right or wrong. I don't know what the laws are regarding that. I think it was an invasion of privacy, and if somebody asked him not to do it, he should have stopped. And getting the phone slapped out of his hand, that's not that big a deal. So what? You know, hey, you have a story the rest of your life to tell about, but I don't think it's a big deal, and I don't blame CM Punk for doing that.
The big deal everybody was talking about on Sunday, besides the fabulous main event, which we'll get to, was what we started the broadcast with. Brock Lesnar took off his boots, took off his gloves, threw up the X, and shared an embrace with Paul Heyman. It seemed to catch everyone off guard. It seemed like Wade Barrett and Michael Cole were both surprised. Depending on who you believe, maybe this is an episode of Unreal. Maybe he really is retiring. Maybe he's creating leverage for himself. Obviously, we know WWE set an absolute record this past weekend, but the chatter going into it was, oh, they're not going to sell it out. Tickets are slow. And they're going to the biggest SummerSlam of all time in another NFL stadium. And a lot of people assumed this would be his swan song. And of course, if you've been watching WWE Creative, you know that whenever a fella thinks he's getting near the end of his career, magically, he finds himself standing across the ring from Gunther. I was looking forward to that. It felt like a dream match for WrestleMania for the last several years. It didn't happen yet, but now Dave Meltzer's reporting that nobody knows for sure, but there are a couple things that are being discussed and bandied about. I got to say, if this is a negotiation tactic, bravo for Brock Lesnar. My God, the balls on that dude. Amazing. But the real question is, do you think that's the last time we'll see him in the ring, John?
Okay. I did not even hear the rumor that it could be a negotiation tactic. That's world class. That is awesome. I have no idea if it is. I mean, I'm just saying that I didn't think about that. That's fantastic. A couple things. All right, there's a lot to pick apart here. Number one, Michael Cole's reaction, all that stuff. I mean, if Michael Cole made a reaction and go, okay, I know he's in on it, it's not a very good reaction.
Right.
I mean, if he makes a reaction that, oh my God, it's shocking, that's what he's supposed to do. So if it is shocking, or if he's just acting like it's shocking. Either one, it should be the same, because you got to be a worker. You know, people say, they were obviously surprised. Well, I hope they looked like they were surprised. That's what you're supposed to look like. You're not supposed to be able to tell the difference between what they really are and what they're acting like they are. So, I don't think you can read anything into that except to say that Michael Cole is a pretty good worker, which is exactly what he is. So I don't think you can know anything from that. First of all, Brock Lesnar is one of the toughest guys I've ever seen. Yeah. He is a freaking modern day Viking. I mean, he's that man. I've always said, we get invaded by aliens, we're sending Brock out there, because he'll send the Martians back home with their tail between their legs, if they have tails. I don't know what aliens have, but for Brock to sit out there and cry, bro, he is the best worker in the world. I mean, Brock it's unbelievable how good he is. I was sitting there watching, I was watching it from the casino, and I'm sitting there watching him going, oh my God, this guy is freaking amazing. Absolutely amazing. Whether it's a negotiation technique, whether it's part of a storyline, whether he actually is retired, whatever it is, his performance was freaking once in a lifetime. That was legendary, what he did. I thought it was just absolutely amazing.
It felt very UFC. If you're a longtime UFC guy, you know that sometimes these retirements would happen after, one of the top stars loses a bout, and he would just announce, hey, that was it. He doesn't make a big pomp and circumstance beforehand. He loses. He thinks he's lost a step. He doesn't want to tarnish the legacy. He retires, knowing that he lost to Oba. I mean, let's be honest. There's a ton of excitement about Oba and Brock going into this. But if we knew this was Brock's retirement match, people would have been talking about Brock and not Oba. Yeah. So by not talking about it, now we're all excited about Oba, and we're excited to see what he can do. We're excited to see him get the win. And what a compliment it is, even if it doesn't wind up being the actual last match. He couldn't have done a better job for Oba. And creatively, as a story point, man, I want to be drawn into the story. I don't want to know that he's going to have his last match against Gunther in SummerSlam and know that now. I would much rather there be a story to bring him back and get him involved. But I did want to ask you, and again, I hope we're not speaking out of school, but there's been a lot of discussion through the years that him and Vince McMahon didn't always get along, that Brock was always the guy that was tough to negotiate with. He wouldn't just sort of roll over and play dead for Vince, and that could be very frustrating. We've seen footage of him throwing the belt at Brock or at Vince in Gorilla before. Like, WWE has posted that, so it's not exactly a trade secret. But I can't help but think maybe there's a little bit of negotiation here, because if for some reason he does decide he wants to retire, why not go ahead and get one last monster payday on the way out in your hometown of Minneapolis? Like, that feels like if you're going to do a 2-night SummerSlam, Brock versus Gunther for one of the nights, that could be it. But why not get paid even more money? I don't know. Am I making this up, or is this just a fabulous, unreal episode in the making that we're watching?
Nope. I know. And I'll tell you my thoughts on this. I think you're right. Look, I know Brock pretty well. I know Vince real well. And I knew the relationship fairly well, not extremely well. But I will say that you have two ego-filled alpha males, two guys with big egos who've been very successful, two very tough guys. And they clashed. They clashed a lot. Brock was the best negotiator I think I've ever seen. I mean, Brock is a really smart human being. And I remember when he was negotiating to come back, he flew out to Vegas, I think it was, and just went backstage just to see Dana White backstage. Just happened to be out in Vegas where he flew on a private jet to go backstage. All of a sudden, his negotiation got a little bit better with WWE. Brock's a great negotiator. I mean, that's what you do. And him and Vince are on different sides of this. Vince wanted Brock. Brock wanted Vince. They needed each other, but they're both negotiating with each other. Brock's an unreal negotiator. I think, look, my belief of what's going to happen, can you imagine the storyline? Brock's retired. He's not going to say anything. Brock doesn't say anything on social media anyway. Leading up to it, he did some podcasts. He did a few things, got out there. You realize how entertaining and how personable this guy is and what a good guy Brock is. We talked about his kids, which all that's legit. Brock is a good human being. But now you have Paul Heyman being tortured by Gunther, saying I was the one that wanted to retire him. Brock goes and visits the ranch, tries to get him to come out. It's the oldest storyline in the world, wrestling. You're trying to get the guy to come out of retirement to come back and slay the demon, slay the dragon. I think this could be an unbelievable. This could be the storyline of the year, if it is a storyline. I have no idea if it is or not. This thing could play out extremely well. When Brock comes back, that ovation, especially if they're anywhere around where he's from, is going to be incredible.
I can't wait to see where it goes. And I think that's what I love most about wrestling is when we can't call it, we don't know for sure, because by God, we all want to believe. And I believe that when we're finished talking about Brock and we're talking about him in a past tense, and maybe we are right now, eventually we'll start to give him his flowers. It's rare that you ever hear anyone talk about him being on their Mount Rushmore, but let's just be honest about it. That dude debuted and almost immediately was the world champ. And he's been at that level ever since. He brought a big fight feel to everything he did. And what an accomplished athlete, what an attraction. But I am curious to see, is this going to be a real retirement? I mean, he didn't say the word, he didn't do a promo, but he's got everybody talking about him. I think he's crazy like a fox. Can't wait to see what's next. But I'd be surprised. And again, I could be wrong. But where exactly is WrestleMania next year, John?
Exactly.
He's not going to get the biggest payday of his freaking career next year in Saudi Arabia. They're going to open up the checkbook for that dude. So even
Conrad,
if he retired,
this guy is brilliant. I'm telling you, I watched him negotiate all this time. And then he goes off and bets on himself. Brock believes in himself. He left the company when he was on the cover of the video game coming out. He leaves to go play in the NFL, and then it didn't work out like he wanted in the NFL, and he goes to UFC, becomes the biggest draw in UFC history, and then comes back. I mean, what Brock has done is there's nobody in the world that could have done this. No one literally in the last 100 years that could have done what Brock Lesnar has done. And I think Brock is still, my opinion, I hope he is, because I love the story and I love Brock. I think he's still negotiating, and I think this is going to be the greatest story that we've had in the last, I don't know how many years. I mean, can you imagine Paul Heyman being tortured by Gunther and trying to get Brock to come back, Brock not answering, Heyman goes up and visits the vignettes you could have trying to get him to come back, Gunther calling him out. This is some legendary shit, man. If this is how it plays out. I just love seeing this in my mind because I love, fantasy booking stuff like everybody else does.
I think we're all excited about the possibilities of what it could look like. And we know that, we've got a huge SummerSlam and a gigantic WrestleMania. I hope that we get some really fun stuff from Brock before he's finally officially done. Lots more money to be made. But if that's it, man, what a career. Certainly a first ballot Hall of Famer on everyone's list. And I hope he gets more into that Mount Rushmore discussion, because when you talk about, the box office that he has and what he's accomplished in his career, it's pretty incredible. I mean, you talk about a guy who came in and really almost immediately started to approach it, especially after his UFC return. He was positioned almost like he was a heavyweight boxing champ. It was a happening whenever he fought. He didn't just wrestle all the house shows when he came back. He wasn't wrestling on Monday Night Raw. It was a special occasion. Long before, I know the industry changed after COVID, but it didn't change for him. He was doing that ahead of time. I'm excited to see what's next, but I am curious, what do you think is next for him? Like, if and when he decides to retire, will we ever hear from him again? Is he just going to disappear and be a farm boy? We hear that he doesn't like people. But to your point, anytime he does an interview, he is the most engaging. Like, I think he could be a major asset to TKO as either a wrestling analyst or a UFC analyst or anything he wanted to do. But what would that thing be, do you think?
Yeah, I think some type of ambassador role for TKO will be the best thing for Brock. He didn't want to be a pundit, I don't believe. He didn't want to watch that much TV. I don't know idea. He didn't want to watch that much TV, I wouldn't think, and be on shows. But I think Brock as an attraction, almost like an Arne Skolin, not as a manager, say Bruno and Andre, but when Arne used to walk out, he was an attraction. You knew he was somebody. A little bit different with Brock. Brock's a bigger name. But I think Brock could still be an attraction where he wanted to be, and I think he could still be. He's incredibly entertaining. Look at the stuff he did with Eddie Guerrero. I mean, the stuff he did with the sombrero and all the stuff he would do. I mean, Brock's a really entertaining guy. When you talk about the Mount Rushmore, don't forget he made a lot of guys
Yes.
He made everybody he worked with. The fact that Brock would work 5 or 6 matches a year and have the matches that he had, we have nobody around that could have done what Brock did. And as far as he cared about finishes, I was wrestling Brock in Abilene, Texas one time, and I've told you this story before. And I go to Brock, I said, "Hey, Brock, hey, I'm from here." And Brock said, "Yeah, I've already talked to Lanza. I'm gonna put you over." And I said, "Brock, I don't care who wins. I was inviting you to the after party." He goes, "Oh, okay." But that was Brock. He knew I went to college there. So he was going to switch the finish to put me over. Just, Brock doesn't care. He knows it's a work, and he knows he can beat up the whole world. So it didn't, and the old shooter guys were like that. The real tough shooter guys, most of them were like that. They didn't care about, putting guys over. But that's how Brock is. Brock made talent. Like, look at what he did for Oba Fem. That guy, Conrad, I haven't seen anything like that. I don't know how long. Those all coming out doing that walk and yelling his name. I mean, he made him. That was incredible.
In a weird way, he helped make. I mean, you have said before you had the career you had as a singles competitor because of Eddie Guerrero.
Mm-hmm.
But who established Eddie Guerrero as the world champ? Who instilled credibility? I mean, no one could ever imagine or believe that Eddie Guerrero was going to beat Brock Lesnar, but he did. And he didn't just do it then. He did it in more recent years, not just this past weekend with Oba, but even with Drew McIntyre. If you go back and you watch the footage of their exchange that they had on the stage at Monday Night Raw, you can literally, if you're watching close enough, see Brock say, "Hey, pick up the belt." So Brock is down selling for Drew, and he wants Drew to have that moment on camera, standing over him, triumphant, holding the world title. And even several weeks ago on Raw, he did it with Oba. You could see him say, "Hey, put your foot on me." Like, you think about a guy where it's like, hey, this guy he doesn't have to do this.
No.
But he is going over the top to make sure that
there are a lot of guys, Conrad, that would not let somebody stand there with their foot on them.
Hogan. I mean, I love me some Hulk Hogan, and everybody's talking about Real American, and it's a fantastic documentary. I hope you check it out. But Hogan was always looking to be taken care of on the other side. Brock never gave a damn. And I think that's pretty cool because he knew he had credibility. I mean, who's going to mess with him?
That's right. That's right. Brock knew he could beat up the entire world. And yeah, there were many guys who would not let somebody stand there with their foot on Brock, and Brock's calling it. I don't know if he called it on the fly or if he forgot to do it. I have no idea. But Brock's calling it. That thing with Eddie. I remember the night he won the WrestleMania. The next night Eddie walked out. You never know how people are going to react after you win the title. When you win the title, there's always a huge pop. The next night when Eddie walked out, I'm standing there, I believe, with Lanza. And remember Lanza just going, "Oh my God." I mean, the place just went nuts. And it had so much to do with Brock having put over Eddie and made Eddie. I mean, it's absolutely incredible what Brock has done.
Hey, I do want to ask you, separate the rumor and innuendo. I know you're a gambling man, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard back in the day when Brock was one of the top draws in the UFC, or actually before he was established, because I think the world knows that once upon a time, he was a top dollar guy with WWE, and he thought it would last forever. He decided, hey, this isn't for me, but he still maintained a lifestyle, and he needed the cash. And according to the rumor and innuendo, before some of his first UFC fights, he went and bet a shit ton of money on himself. You made mention earlier, he bet on himself. I mean, literally, he went in advance of the fight and bet a fortune on himself, knowing that he was the underdog and nobody believed in him and nobody gave him a shot. And the rumor and innuendo is he made more money on the bet than he did on the fight. Have you heard this?
I've heard that. I don't know if it's true or not. I'd love to ask him. I don't know, but I don't know. But it sounds like Brock.
I want to believe it. I don't even need to know the truth. I
don't either. I don't even want to ask because it may not be true. So I want to believe it.
What a fucking story he's got. I hope this isn't it. I hope that fans will go check out some of the stuff he did. And the thing that I keep coming back to, and I hate to be negative about it, but the match that we never got, the one that I think about, that I'm sure a lot of people think about, because it did feel like it could have been a passing of the torch. We know we saw it with Hogan and Rock, but man, Lesnar, Austin, we were so close. Yeah. And I know that ultimately, Austin didn't want to do it on free TV, but that felt like it could have been a major WrestleMania main event. Even that WrestleMania, 17, I know that he's going to make the big debut after at 18, but if Brock was there at that, not 17, at 18, I know he debuts the next night, but if you could have had him there for that build, or even the following year at 19, I know that's the swan song and it's Rock and Austin for the last time. I would have loved to have seen Austin and Lesnar. I still think that may be the match that kind of got away.
I do too, because styles make matchups, and Brock is such a big, tough wrestler. Steve is just a fist and feet guy. A lot of when he was Stone Cold. Now he can work also, but you know what I'm saying. What I'm saying, it would have been an unbelievable match. Those two guys could work. Those two guys could go all night. That would have been fun.
Because there was credibility on both sides. I mean, I could see them sort of recreating in a different style match, of course, that Hogan Rock feel in the crowd, because everybody would have an opinion. Oh, well, he can't beat Stone Cold. Stone Cold beats everybody. I don't know. I don't know if he can beat this guy. Like, Austin never had a true monster like Brock.
Yeah, that's right.
It would have been fantastic to see. But, listen, unfortunately, not all of us are going to ever be able to feel or look like Brock Lesnar. That's why we need Mars Men. I think you're going to absolutely dig Mars Men too. I mean, here's the deal. When you feel like you're in your mid-30s, all of a sudden it feels like you're just like walking through mud. And you didn't feel like you changed anything. It's just one day stuff got harder and you're wondering, hey, how did this get more difficult? Well, here's the reality. Most men start losing testosterone around age 30, about 1% every year after that. And that's why I started taking Mars Men. I think you should check it out too. Here's what I've learned. Your body makes testosterone, but a lot of it gets locked up and it can't be used. And there's this protein called SHBG that basically handcuffs your testosterone. So even if your body's making testosterone, SHBG locks it up so you can't access it. It's like having money in the bank, but your debit card doesn't work. Mars Men is designed to help locked testosterone get freed up so your body can actually use it. There's no synthetics, there's no needles, just real ingredients that help optimize your energy, your focus, and your strength. I'm telling you, you're going to absolutely love it. You're going to feel more consistent, natural energy. You're going to have a stronger physical performance. You're going to have better recovery in the gym. But when it comes to that energy, I want you to know it's not like drinking a cup of coffee. It's more of a steadier sense of drive throughout the day. You're going to love that Mars Men supports healthy T levels, the energy, and the stamina. It's all from 8 natural, clinically closed ingredients. By the way, it's made in the USA. It's third-party tested. It's 90-day money-back guarantee, too. How about that, bud? There's no risk. Worst case is you don't absolutely love it and you get your money back. But it turns out 91% of users report higher energy levels. Thousands of guys are feeling incredible results. Just check out the reviews on the website and see for yourself. And right now, for a limited time, our listeners can get 50% off for life, plus free shipping and 3 free gifts at mengotomars.com. That's mengotomars.com for 50% off and 3 free gifts when you check out. It's also available on Amazon. After you purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. All right, John, it's time for one of our favorite segments here on the show, Wrestleworth, where we get to do like our own antique road show for pro wrestling. Let's welcome into the show from Heritage Auctions, my friend and yours, Tony. Tony, what's going on, man?
I got to meet JBL for the first time, so I had a great time at WrestleCon last weekend.
Yeah, you had a heck of a display, man. I saw lots of pictures. I loved you showing off the Steve Austin knee brace, which we featured here on the show. I saw you even had the Hogan boots that sold for over $1 million there. But I got to tell you, my phone blew up all weekend about the WCW United States title. What was the traffic like at WrestleCon?
There was a lot of people. So we had that in a dedicated case right up front with the Hogan boots, and a lot of people were taking photos with it. There was a lot of interest in it because you rarely get a chance to see those belts up close, and it was one of the central items at our booth, and it was amazing. A lot of photos, a lot of interest, a lot of people. It's a little different than what you'll typically see. A lot of times people are going to get autographs, and to see some of the match used items, I think people really appreciated it. I think they really enjoyed it as well.
Well, something I enjoy is whenever we can feature some of the items that our listeners have found. And we've actually got a submission from Christian Kane, and we're going to feature his item. But I want you to know, if you've got something on your man cave shelf or over the mantle, or maybe it's in storage and you kind of forgot about it, but you think, hey, that's kind of cool. I wonder what that's worth. I think a lot of us started to think that when we saw that Hulk Hogan's boots sold for $1 million. Well, if you want Tony to give you an opinion, send us your item and send us your story to wrestleworth@gmail.com, and we could feature it here on the show. Christian Kane actually wants to know the potential value of a superstar Billy Graham WWE Hall of Fame ring. So Christian has this, and in addition to the ring, he has the original invitation letter from Vince McMahon. Obviously, anytime you get a WWE Hall of Fame ring, that's a pretty cool deal, and especially when you know Billy Graham's history. Not only a Hall of Famer, but a WWE champion and a real innovator. You talk about a guy who inspired Hulk Hogan and Dusty Rhodes and so many others. Billy Graham near the top of the list of most influential. And how about that? Even the signed letter from Vince McMahon, dated August 25th, 2008. Hopefully you're watching with us on YouTube at somethingtowrestle.com. It says, "Dear Billy, your induction to the Hall of Fame commemorated your career contributions to World Wrestling Entertainment, Inc. On behalf of WWE, please accept this ring as a token of our admiration and as a symbol of your lifetime achievements. Autographed by Vince McMahon." Man, it's cool to have a Hall of Fame ring. Maybe even cooler to have the invitation on letterhead signed by Vince. What do you think of this one, Tony?
Yeah, so I know we sold Dory Funk Jr.'s ring about 6-7 years ago for about $15,000. We've got Pat Patterson's coming up. That one's got a $20,000 estimate. But when you're talking about superstar Billy Graham, you're talking about an elite level Hall of Famer. I mean, a champion. He, in the 70s, he was a very big deal. A lot of the guys in the 80s patterned themselves after him. That one is probably going to be a step up from Pat Patterson's. No offense, I would probably estimate that in the $30,000 range. Again, superstar Billy Graham is next level. Hulk Hogan kind of modeled himself after him a little bit, and he influenced wrestling for such a long period of time. And it's nice because it actually shows some wear on it. So it's not something that he never really put on. It's something that he definitely wore. When you get to the Vince McMahon autograph, very interesting here. I met Vince McMahon one time. It was after the Survivor Series. Literally, it was at a gym at 11:30 at night on a Sunday night. And there was about 5 people there. And when he signed autographs, I just got a photo with him. But when he signs autographs now, you basically get a check, a V, and that's it. You don't get that full name signature. So that in itself, the letter alone to superstar Billy Graham is probably $500 to $750, I would say, especially because of that autograph. And it's so nice when you can pair up the ring and the letter together. And again, there's not a lot of these rings floating around. And I look at it as, who had a really big impact. And superstar Billy Graham, next level. And I would probably say around 30,000 would, if that was in an auction, that's what I would estimate it at, because boy, he was just next level.
Well, how about that? Congratulations, Christian. You got something that could be worth 30 grand there.
Mm-hmm.
And Tony, I think you were telling me that you've got something cool from Andre. We recently saw an Andre autograph. What do we got from Andre this week?
We got a really cool piece that was dropped off at WrestleCon. It's actually a branding iron from his ranch in Ellerby, North Carolina. And it's got, so you can see the J for Jackie, the F for Frenchie, and obviously the A for Andre. And, there's not a lot of Andre stuff out there. There's a hand, there's autographs you can get, but his ring worn gear next to impossible, items that he wore, articles of clothing, really hard to find. This is kind of a unique item. And we're going to be trying to, I don't know if you're going to really say photo match it, but we're going to try to find him with this piece. This will be in our Platinum Night auction. I just think it's really cool because I know that was like his way to get away from the world, was to go to this ranch. And I know he was there from, I think it was like the mid 80s till he passed away. So kind of a neat personal item from Andre's collection. Like I said, there's not really a lot of his stuff out there, and a neat personal item from his collection.
Well, next, I can't believe this is real, John, but over the week, this past week, as he was setting up for WrestleCon, I got a text from Tony. Tony knows that I'm a big belt guy, and he told me that he got something that I just honestly couldn't believe. I think we all understand and appreciate now, especially with the release that came out today as we're recording, about the new Hulk Hogan Netflix documentary, Real American, 4 episodes chronicling his career, his final interview ever. And it feels like more and more people talk about the boom of the rock and wrestling era leading into WrestleMania 3. It's still the most famous WrestleMania of all. And there were two belts that were used in 86 and 87 that on the surface look nearly identical. Most wrestling belt collectors refer to that as the Hogan 86, but in fact, there were two. Now, we know that Nick Balea, the real-life Hulk Hogan's son, has one of those titles, and I believe he has the WrestleMania 3 one. But nobody ever knew what happened to the other one. And there was rumor and innuendo, John, that he had gifted it to a kid. And I just thought, well, what are the odds of that? I mean, that doesn't even sound like a real story. And I'll be damned. Here it is. Tony has found the belt with the kid. Here it is, the Hogan belt from either 86 or 87. I believe it's 86, but I could be wrong. Tony, what do you know about this title?
So all I know is it was given to a family friend and where it has remained until now. This belt literally just got to Heritage yesterday. So I got to put my eyes on it last night. I had to see it. We have it obviously in one of our safes here, but I had to see this thing in person. And the cool thing about it, now, Conrad, you know belts better than anybody else in this world. There's nice wear on it. It's not, there's no enamel loss or anything. There's some nice wear on the inside of the belt. There's a little bit of splitting, but it's not terribly noticeable. It's got some good wear to it. It's got the Reggie Parks stamp on it. And I can't wait till we do the research on this and get it photo matched. That's going to be one of the big things we're going to try to do with this belt. The nice thing, the good thing going forward on this is there's a lot of photos of Hogan wearing these belts or wearing his belt. Nice studio photos. So I think there's a very good chance it's going to photo match. And it's tough because with the wrestling gear, it's difficult to photo match it because it's not like in basketball, baseball, and football, there's Getty Images where you can just go to Getty right now and find photos. Wrestling's a little bit different. There's, you need those high definition photos. And I know there's going to be some good ones of Hogan because I remember when I was a kid looking at the WWF magazines and looking at the picture books and that kind of thing. So, it literally just got in here, but we've been working on this for a little while. My thought the whole time was, I want your viewers to, I want to break it with your viewers, and we couldn't be more excited to have it. I think I believe it's going to have $1 million estimate. I think it's going to far exceed that just because, I just turned 50. And when I think of the belt, that's the one when I was a kid that I just loved. And, it's Hulk Hogan. And, we have those boots with the $1 million that just sold. So I think this one's going to do extremely well. We're going to take it on the road. We'll have it at our Beverly Hills office, have it in our New York office. Obviously, we'll have it here in Dallas. And we're really looking forward to see what this sells for because I think it's going to rival the boots. And again, I say it all the time, you're buying the piece, but you're buying the story too. And I think once we get a chance to photo match it, I think that's going to be a huge, huge game changer.
$1 million.
Just see. Yeah, $1 million, dude. How about that? I mean, worst case scenario, this is a WrestleMania 2 belt, but it's either WrestleMania 2 or WrestleMania 3, John. And obviously, there's a big difference between the two. But either way, it's peak Hulkamania. Like, WrestleMania 3 could only be at the Silverdome and draw that many fans if Hulkamania was white hot. And this is the way we get there. So I'm excited to see how it shakes out. Tony, I've got access to all the old wrestling magazines from that period. I'll offline, I'll connect you with the hard drive so you can see and maybe be able to pour through some of that. And I'm sure Dave Milliken, who used to be the apprentice and now the heir apparent for Reggie Parks, he could probably help authenticate it too. Absolutely. But John, this is one of the great mysteries of wrestling belt collectors. Like there's probably 3 or 4 belts that the entire wrestling belt community, as long as I've been a part of it, has always wondered, hey, where the hell is this one? And we've heard about it forever, John. So to finally see it and the story be awfully similar to the one we heard before, this is one of the more exciting things that happened as a collector in this last week, John.
Yeah, this is absolutely incredible. And so now, did Hogan actually gift it to a kid? Is that what happened? I mean, is that how this thing ended up working its way to here?
From what I've been told, he gifted it to a family friend, and that's about all that I know right now. Of course, we're going to be trying to find out as much information as possible. And once we do the write-up on it and do a little research, I think we can get a little more information on it. But
wait a minute, where has this thing been?
It's been in a collection ever since he gave it away, I guess.
To a friend. Did they know how valuable it was?
They reached out to us, and I don't think, I don't think people really thought about wrestling collectibles as having a lot of value until these boots kind of took every single thing and raised everything up now. And now people are looking in their closets and they're looking around. Obviously, the Stone Cold knee brace, the United States title that we've got coming up in auction. There's a lot of things that are it's going to be an interesting auction in May because, having this belt, it's going to raise it a lot. And I think the more and more mainstream that it becomes, the more this is going to go up in value. I'm really curious to see as far as the media coverage that this is going to bring, because, you've got the boots, now you've got the belt from that time period. Well, actually a little bit later on, but when I look at the belt, I look at the wear, there's so many factors that make us such a cool belt. Like I said, I looked at it yesterday for about 5 minutes. The wear on it was just perfect, and we're gonna, do everything that we can to get it out to the masses.
What's cool to me about this one, John, is just to associate it with the time period. This would have been when Hogan was doing Saturday Night's Main Event. This is the era where Hogan's on the cover of Sports Illustrated. This is when he's a part of pop culture. This is during the big event that we've always heard about, the big match against Paul Orndorff, outdoors that set a record in Canada. He's wrestling Terry Funk on Saturday Night's Main Event. Like, this is some prime Hulk Hogan stuff where the ratings were just through the roof, and pop culture as a whole was embracing Hulk Hogan. That didn't really happen until after WrestleMania 1. So this is likely the belt from that area where most of the people would agree Hulkamania was at its peak. Now, I know Nick has the other belt, but the idea being that, hey, these two belts, whether it's 86 or it's 87, could be shared by one lucky collector who wins a Heritage Auctions, it sounds like, or Hulk Hogan's son. That's about as rarefied air as it gets for a collectible, John.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. That's the Rocky IV movie. I mean, everything about this. I mean, Hogan just catapulted wrestling, and during that era, I mean, it was unreal. That's why I always say that the Hogan is one of the most important figures. When you talk about Mount Rushmore, who's the greatest, it's hard to argue that who is great, who is greater. But Hogan, if not for him, WrestleMania doesn't take off like it does. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think Vince McMahon still makes it. I think WrestleMania still makes it. But you don't put 93,000 people in a stadium if you don't have Hulk Hogan on fire like this. I mean, you could have had Hogan, but the Rocky IV, all the stuff that he was doing, this was an incredible time in wrestling history. When we had national television back in the 50s, you didn't have it again until the 80s. That's how much of a downturn wrestling took. It came back with Hogan. That's when you had Saturday Night's Main Event. But it's all off the back of Hulk Hogan, and that's when this belt was. It looks like was a part of all of this.
Well, we know what's coming next, Tony. I think bidding starts for some of the auctions. You've got a big auction coming up. I think bidding is going to start later today as folks are listening to this, and I think it's going to go through like mid-May. Tell us about some of the wrestling items that are going to be auctioned off in your upcoming auction and how they can be part of that process if they want to.
Yep, you can go to ha.com, and this auction is going to end May 15th to the 17th. May 15th is strictly for cards, and then 16th and 17th is for the memorabilia. And you can go to ha.com and view everything. We've got a lot of variety. We have Matt Cardona's figures that I think just sold this last weekend. We've got some really cool California State Athletic Commission applications, with one being Andre's signed Andre Rusimov and Andre the Giant, and it had his address and LRB is on it, and which is a really cool piece because to see Andre's autographs one thing, but to see Andre Rousimov much more difficult, and he also wrote Andre the Giant. So that's one. We got a Hogan one from the mid '80s. We've got a Bobby Heenan one, which is kind of cool. I always thought he was so unique and so such an iconic manager. So we have some of those coming up, which are kind of neat, and they're not some of them aren't going to go for thousands and thousands. Some of them are going to be more manageable, and obviously we always have a lot of wrestling cards. We kind of set the standard when we sold the 82-83 All-Star set for 155,000, I believe. We did sell a Hogan PSA 9 for 133,000, which at the time was a record for a wrestling card. So a lot of variety, a lot of different things, and because of the success, I think, of this May sale that we're going to have, I think there's going to be a lot more coming in. Looking to do more shows, looking to get out there more. Obviously, we want to do WrestleCon again, and looking to do kind of expand it a bit to get out there, to show people some of these really special items that you may not get to see up close. So it's exciting for me, and obviously going to WrestleCon, getting to meet a lot of the fans and meet a lot of the consigners and bidders. It was a blast, and it's something I always like doing, and it was something that we're going to continue to do in the future.
Well, it's cool, John. You got to go check it out over at ha.com. They've actually got actual tickets from the first WrestleMania and even from WrestleMania 3 and Great American Bash 05. But there's little stuff in there that really tickles me, like the Ric Flair Athletic Commission license, where he had to fill out the application. I know this is silly and it wouldn't matter to anybody else, but John, he lied about his date of birth, and he just added, it's silly to me, but you look at Ric Flair's application and it has the correct date, but it has the wrong year. Wink, wink. I don't know why it tickles me, but it makes me happy.
Wait, how many years did he fudge?
He just cut 1 year off, so it's kind of like, what's the point? But he cut 1 year off. Instead of writing 49, he wrote 50. But you've got the same for Hulk Hogan and Terry Funk and so many others. Go check it out at ha.com. While you're there, check out the ECW entrance letters that I've got up there, the ECW arena sign, the WCW US title, and my buddy Dave Milliken's Steve Austin knee brace, all that and a whole lot more available now at ha.com. Man, I can't tell you how excited I am to see what you find about this Hogan belt. This is one of the great mysteries of wrestling collectibles in the last 2 decades, and the idea that you found it is super exciting.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, I don't mean to cut Tony off here, but Tony fired up on me at WrestleCon.
What?
Look at him. You can see he did it. You can see he's guilty as hell. He's absolutely guilty. Fired up on me, Conrad. Fired up like Tommy Wildfire Rich. Fired up on me. The man fired up on me, bowed up, and was ready to go.
I gotta say this. We're looking for our cases for the show. So I'm walking around the casino on the outside. I gotta tell you, I'm standing right by the lobby or right outside, and this guy comes up from behind me and says, "Give me your money." And I'm like, who is this gigantic human being? And we had 10 minutes of great conversation, but I'm thinking, I don't know somebody this big.
He's fired up on me. I grabbed him from behind.
Oh my God.
And when I did it, you said, "Oh, good Lord, man. This man just fired up on me, Conrad."
I told that story. I called up my buddies. I'm like, "You'll never guess what just happened." What a great guy. What a great human being.
We had fun. It was great.
We did. Great 10 minutes.
It was great because I didn't know he was frustrated. He was frustrated when I grabbed him. You could tell it right away. Like, I
loved it. I loved it. It really set the tone for WrestleCon, and had a great time.
It was good to see you, Tony.
Thanks.
Always great to have you. We'll see you soon. Thanks again for the update, and hope you have a very successful auction. Let us know about the belt and stay in touch. We'll see you soon.
We'll do.
All right, folks, let's take just a minute here and let's talk about our friends over at Dose. John and I have been doing the research, and we found, what we need? We need a little bit of dose in our life. Maybe you haven't been doing any research on this, but I want you to know there is a rising liver health crisis here in America. It's almost unavoidable for the average American. And a lot of people are hesitating because they're thinking, well, I don't want to have to start taking something for my cholesterol that I'm not comfortable with. And then be stuck with it for the rest of our life. Well, you don't have to do that with Dose. What you need to do is look for more gentle alternatives with ingredients you recognize, like ginger and pomegranate. That's why Americans are looking for Dose. I'm a big believer in Dose for cholesterol. My wife actually works in the medical research field. She's been on this for a long time. And when I told her they were a sponsor here on the podcast, she's like, it's about time. You see, Dose for cholesterol is clinically backed cholesterol support. It's a supplement that's going to target your triglycerides, your LDL, your HDL, and your total cholesterol levels. You're absolutely going to love what you feel with Dose. You're going to be encouraged when you get your results back if you're doing regular blood work. People are going to start wondering, hey, what is he doing differently? Here's what he's doing differently. A daily 2-ounce liquid shot. That's it. It tastes like mango. There's no capsules. There's no powders. And it's easy to work into your routine. And I'm going to be honest with you. I ain't doing it if it don't taste good. Dose does. Dose for cholesterol, man. You're going to love it, especially when you realize how natural this is. It's an easy way to self-manage your cholesterol health as an alternative to all those other conventional therapies. But maybe the convenience is the best part. You see, Dose for cholesterol gets delivered right to your door. That makes getting the support you need for your health easy to stick to. And new customers can save 35% off your first month of your subscription by going to dosedaily.co/wrestle or entering the promo code WRESTLE at checkout. That's dosedaily.co/wrestle for 35% off your first month of your subscription. Let's talk a little bit about WrestleMania this past weekend. The entire world is reeling. Let's briefly run through night one. We saw in the pre-show the Usos teaming up with LA Knight against the Vision and ISHO Speed. What a debut it was for ISHO Speed. We know he's not a wrestler. He is an influencer. They put him on the pre-show to get some attention and some eyeballs. And I got to admit, I had really low expectations, but he exceeded them. He had great facials. He's clearly in good shape. Probably not very familiar with, all the mechanics of being an in-ring performer, but I think they did about as good as you could have expected. I mean, who doesn't love LA Knight and the Usos, and who doesn't hate Austin Theory and Logan Paul? So this was kind of perfect casting, wasn't it?
It was perfect casting. And got, like I say, the Usos out there for a very good reason. Those guys can do absolutely anything, make anybody look great. I thought ISHO Speed did fantastic. The dive he did off the top. I mean, that you missed that by a little bit. You hurt yourself. You hurt your opponent. I mean, he's a heck of an athlete, a heck of an entertainer. I thought the whole thing was very good. And I've always been a big fan of Logan Paul and Austin Theory. I think Logan Paul is. I've said it many times. I think he's a future world champion.
Call it now. We're a year away. Do you think Logan Paul is in one of the main events next year at WrestleMania?
Yeah, I do. I think he will be. I think he probably should be. I mean, look at him. He's a big guy. He's looks fantastic. He can talk. He's got this incredible following, but he's got a knack for wrestling. You understand, Conrad, by the time I got to WWE, I'd had 1,000 matches in 7 or 8 different territories. He doesn't have any of that, and he's still able to perform like this. Now, he's working with great talent. He's got great producers working with him. I get all that, but a lot of it is due to him. I mean, he is an unbelievable talent, and yes, I think he will be in one of the main events.
I'm not saying this is it, but if I was a betting man, I could totally see them running back Logan Paul and Cody Rhodes. I know it happened once before in Saudi Arabia, but I could see it happening again. Stay tuned for what happens there. But that Logan Paul, a natural heel and major influencer, gonna have access to a lot of media, a lot of impressions. Feels like that checks all the Saudi boxes. We'll see next year. Last week, I predicted the match of the night might be Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. Boy, did I think they delivered. Yeah. I don't know that I could have picked it, though. I mean, realistically, it's a coin flip. I could have seen the methodology behind Drew winning. I could also see the reasoning behind Jacob winning. When it was all said and done, I thought the fans were the winners. I enjoyed this one. What did you think?
I thought it was fantastic. I've been a fan of Drew McIntyre ever since he first came in the company, and Jacob Fatu, I think, is one of the best workers in the world. I mean, that guy is unbelievable. I'd love to have had a program with Jacob Fatu. I just think he's that good. And I thought this match lived up to everything that you were said about it. I think it lived up to it. And incredible performance by 2 incredible performers.
I think Drew McIntyre has low-key become one of the pillars and the unsung heroes and MVPs of WWE. I don't know that he gets his flowers enough, but I think he's on quite a run right now. And he helped make Jacob Fatu the proof was in the pudding. This past Monday night, we saw Jacob Fatu go nose to nose with the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. What's your thought on Jacob Fatu and Roman? Is that the direction that's next? Should they wait and hold that one and do a slow burn and slow build? Or is it time to immediately strap the rocket to Jacob Fatu?
I think you strap the rocket to him. I'm not sure. I think it may be too early for Roman to be with Jacob. I think you strap the rocket to Jacob, put him over, get him some wins, get him some presence there in WWE, and then let him go with Roman. I mean, Roman is the man. He's the guy, and you'd hate to see somebody get there before they're ready. And I think he's ready physically. He's ready work wise. But I think not ready as a character that he can be, say, in 3 to 6 months of putting him over, and then have them connect.
What a big moment it was when Paige returned. She filled in for Nikki Bella. Now Paige, in her return to WWE, is a champion alongside Brie Bella. As exciting as that was, I got to tell you, I'm an old school Mark. I can't help myself. When I saw that Lash Legend and Nia Jax were paying tribute to Demolition, I thought it was like the coolest thing of the night.
Me too. And I saw Nia. What a nice. I love her. She's such a nice lady. It's so great to see her. But Demolition to me, I've always enjoyed being around Barry Darsow. I know better because of the connection with Brad Rheingans in Minnesota. Bill Eadie, I've gotten to meet over the last many years. And I've really enjoyed being around Bill and Barry. And so happy that those two guys, they were right near me at WrestleCon, so I got to talk to them every day. Just nice, pleasant guys. Obviously, well-deserved. They should have been in the Hall of Fame, years ago. Obviously, they had a problem with Vince, over some lawsuits and stuff. And so there's a little personal reason they weren't, from Vince, that they weren't in the Hall of Fame. But I'm really glad that they are now, because the Hall of Fame isn't the Hall of Fame without those boys.
We also saw Becky Lynch beat AJ Lee. She's now the women's Intercontinental Champion. I thought it was a big showing for Becky Lynch. Pretty excited to see Gunther back in there with Seth Rollins too. It did feel like a little bit of a cold match. I think a few months ago we would have assumed that they would both have different opponents here. I was curious how they would advance the story and finish this match. What a surprise. Braun Breaker with one of the shots of the weekend, the world's longest spear. What did you think of Braun's return?
I thought it's fantastic. I love Braun, and I thought that these two guys would have a hell of a match. Obviously, I don't know what the storylines were before. Obviously, I think they had something different, probably for Gunther and maybe for Seth also. And then all of a sudden they stick them together because they know they're going to have a good match, and they did exactly what you expect. Two guys who can really freaking go, and then you throw in Braun. I thought it was a perfect place for him.
Super fun match, super fun showing. And then, of course, we know that we've got to talk about the main event and what a main event it was. But before we do, I want to mention Liv Morgan, who I feel like has certainly had one of the best run in women's history. Like, you talk about her rise as a character from where she was a few years ago to the Dominic pairing. And now she's your new women's champion. Well-deserved by Liv. But the main event is what everybody was talking about. And people had decided long before this match was even announced that they didn't want to see Cody and Randy. And then when it felt like we were getting excited about Cody and Randy, here comes the Pat McAfee thing. And it felt like everyone universally dumped on it. I thought they did a masterful job of getting it out of the way. I think fans had rejected the Pat McAfee thing. I think creative probably knew that. And they thought, we'll just have Jelly Roll put him through the table and then we'll let them do their match. I thought they had a fantastic match, but what everybody was talking about when it was over was the unbelievable damage that Randy Orton did to Cody Rhodes. It wasn't necessarily from the belt shot. It wasn't necessarily from the punt. It was from a bunch of live rounds, old school. And Cody was at the doctor earlier today and posted to social something like the most strange but comforting thing he'd ever heard at a doctor's office was, I don't think you'll lose the eye. So he's going to keep his eye, but boy, it is a shiner from hell, clearly damage to the orbital bone. What'd you think of the main event and the brutality that it brought?
This is some old school stuff, man. This is some old school stuff. Hey, we're going to go out there, we're going to work, and we're going to work hard. And kudos to these guys. They went out there and beat the shit out of each other. I mean, kudos to them. That's just old school tough. It's kind of what you expect out of a third generation wrestler or second generation wrestlers who are two of the greatest stars of all time, by the way, not just their family legacy. They by themselves, I thought it was fantastic. And I was kind of surprised the brutality, but I applaud them. I'm very appreciative of what they did.
Night 2, we've already talked about, got kicked off with a bang with Obafemi and Brock Lesnar. Obafemi now is the ruler, and he cut a short and sweet promo on Monday night. What would you do next? What would you like to see next from Oba? We're all wondering what's next for Brock, but more importantly, the guy we know sticking around, what's next for Oba, John?
You've got to have him guzzle some people. I mean, just absolutely guzzle some people. And, I don't know if he's like the Road Warriors. I don't know if you can turn him heel. I don't know if he can be a heel. I think they're just going to like what he does. I watched him walk out at WrestleMania. I was watching on TV. I was watching from a sports bar, but I didn't see it live. What a reaction. I mean, everybody's doing that little walk, it's just cool. And the way he can talk. I mean, this guy is what a gem they've got with this guy. I mean, I think you got to have him guzzle some people and then make him the biggest monster since Brock Lesnar.
I'm glad you brought up the walk, because it is something that I think has caught on and it's a little viral now and everybody's doing it. But I think there's probably a subset of people who think, well, I'm not doing that. That looks stupid. It looks silly. Yes, it certainly does, but he does it with confidence enough and it became cool.
It looks slow for me because I can't do it. I don't know how he does it. I think it's awesome. I love it. I don't know. I don't know why. I have no idea what it is. I saw everybody doing it. I was sitting there in the sports bar watching. I was trying to do it with them because I thought this is awesome. Everybody in the sports bar was doing it too. Look, that guy is over, man. It's unreal. Sometimes you catch lightning in a bottle. Brock Lesnar helped make him, but that's lightning in a bottle right there. I don't. Wherever you go with this guy, man, the moon is the destination, because that's where the rocket ship's going.
You and I follow sports, of course, and the discourse around sports for the last 5 years has been NIL, and he was one of the first NIL athletes signed into WWE. It happened 5 years ago this month, where he was at a tryout in Las Vegas, and now here he is, maybe retiring Brock Lesnar on ESPN2. I mean, you want to talk about the rocket?
Where did he come from?
The University of Alabama.
God, roll tide,
baby. Shot put. Of course, he is. Boy, what a weird sentence. He's a shoot Nigerian, but he was setting all kinds of records at the University of Alabama in track and field. I think specifically in shot put. But he was on the WWE's radar. They brought him in, did an NIL deal, clearly got him ready in NXT, and now who would have thought? ESPN, Brock Lesnar. Obafemi is the man. But the next match, the one that I know is probably near and dear to you.
Real quick, can you imagine Obafemi versus Roman Reigns, which that's WrestleMania next year probably. But my God, man, that's huge, absolutely huge.
No doubt. I do want to ask you about the 6-pack ladder match. We sort of joke, poor Rusev's going to have to catch a lot of guys.
I watched that. I was watching the poor guy, because me and Ron used to go out there in some of these matches, with the Hardys and Edge and Christian, and they're wanting to do all these flips and flops. Well, that's great, because me and Ron have got to catch them all, so it's like bullshit. Yeah. It's like, this sucks. People forget about you. People forget about Morocco being on the ground when Superfly jumps off the top of the cage going, oh, man, Superfly was so great. He landed on somebody. People talk about, well, the Eddie Guerrero jumping off the cage. Yeah, he almost crippled me when he hit me. Don't forget who caught him. So yes, poor Rusev. Rusev was the one who had to catch everybody.
If you ask Jeff Jarrett to this day, most brutal injury you ever had in wrestling, Superfly Snuka doing the splash off the cage on him. Sincerely, the worst injury he ever had. And of course, the Intercontinental title was on the line. Who better to showcase than what a lot of people, including Paul Heyman, thinks could be the next big thing? Penta retains over Javon Evans, Dragon Lee, JD McDonough, Rusev, and Rey Mysterio. And although it didn't make the broadcast, Dragon Lee had one of the more intricate ring costumes, entrance costumes, whatever you want to call it, man. His gear was ridiculous. Go out of your way to check it out. But a ladder match showcased on ESPN feels like a make-believe sentence, but it happened. And so did the U.S. title. We talked about this last week. We made comparisons to WrestleMania 20. Of course, at the time we were talking about Big Show and John Cena, but it felt like a passing of the torch. It felt like we were making a guy and starting him on that upward trajectory. Trick Williams does the exact same thing here, beating Sami Zayn for the U.S. title. But how about the coat and the train that came with it? I saw a lot of people making a joke that looked like a CVS receipt, but there was a lot of really fabulous.
I hadn't heard that one. That's good.
Trick Williams is a star, man, and what a star-making night this was for him.
Yeah, it is. And kudos to pull off something like that. I mean, that's thinking. That's thinking out of the box. Now, somebody may have gave him that idea. I have no idea. I don't care, and I don't give a shit. I just think it's awesome that he come out with that coat like that. That's just fantastic. People gonna remember that. People will forget the matches. People forget all that stuff. They're gonna remember that coat. As crazy as that is, now he can deliver also. So he's not just all hat, no cattle, as they say down south. There's a lot of substance there, but kudos to him for that. And by the way, kudos to Rey Mysterio. What the fuck? Rey doesn't age. Rey doesn't. It's unbelievable. I mean, Rey was out there in that ladder match doing all kinds of crazy stuff that he did 20, 30 years ago. I mean, it's just amazing performance.
What a performance it was by Dominic Mysterio and the Demon Finn Balor. It's been a long time since we saw the Demon. The Demon returned to his winning ways. It was a street fight. I loved it. I can totally see Dominic Mysterio being a main event player for a long time. But let's be honest, during Vince McMahon's reign, for whatever reason, Finn Balor had a lot of stops and starts. This feels like it could be the spark that reignites Finn Balor, specifically maybe the Demon. I think it's time for us to move Finn up the card. I think we're going to see him in some really high profile matches later this year. Don't you?
I do too. Finn has the curse of being a great worker.
Yes.
And that is a curse at times. Dolph Ziggler had the same thing. And Dolph was world champion and he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, as they say. But the same thing with Dolph, because Dolph was so freaking good. Billy Gunn was like that. I mean, the guy could just work. So they put him with guys because they could make anybody look good. And that's been Finn Balor. They know that Finn Balor is such a freaking great worker that he can go out there and make anybody look good. And you forget sometimes, wait a minute, he's a great worker. Maybe we should push the great worker. That maybe that's the idea, and that's the same thing with Dolph, with Billy and Finn. These guys have the curse of being some of the best workers in the world. And when they're like that, sometimes you get abused. And that's what's happened to Finn at times, because of that, hey, we need to get somebody over. This guy's not that good a worker. He's a little bit green. What can we do with him? We'll put him with Finn because Finn will make him look like a freaking $1 million. Well, if Finn can make him look like $1 million, he can make himself look like $1 million too. And people forget that sometimes. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of Finn Balor, and I would love to see him back at the top where he has been before and he belongs.
Randy Orton over the weekend did an interview, and he said pretty much the exact same thing. He wants to have a big time match with Finn Balor. It hasn't happened yet, but he sees how smooth he is.
When you're on a roster like that and you have a guy like that, a lot of times you don't get to work with him, because Randy's a really good worker himself. So you don't get to work with the great workers because, like I say, with Finn Balor, he's such a great worker. He's busy helping guys that aren't such good workers. So you sit there on the roster sometimes going, I'd like to work with him. You see guys on rosters. So when Randy sees that, he's seen something that he thinks, oh my God, I could have incredible matches with that guy. What matches Randy could have with Finn Balor? Those could be world class.
Can't wait to see what they do with Finn later this year. Excited to see Rhea Ripley become champ again. She picked up a win over Jade Cargill. I think they exceeded all expectations. Jade's had a lot of critics who felt like she wasn't capable of delivering the big match. I think she hushed them all up quite well. Nice performance by both ladies. Rhea is the champ again. But the main event that everybody was talking about, the longest match of the weekend, and arguably, I don't even think it can be debated, the best match of the weekend was Roman Reigns and CM Punk. So I was wrong. It wasn't Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu. Roman Reigns and CM Punk showed the world what a WrestleMania main event looks like on night 2. It exceeded my expectations. I don't know what I expected, but man, they told one hell of a story. And it was different than the main event we saw in night 1, where we had lots of celebrity involvement and then some real brutality with what happened to Cody. But you want to talk about a story? I think the story with Punk and Roman, and it was clean, which is often rare in a big time main event like this, where there's, lots of ego on the line as well. A clean finish, 33 minutes in. What'd you think of Roman and CM Punk?
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. You watch wrestling your whole life. You're in wrestling. I'm in wrestling my whole adult life, and occasionally you see matches like this, and it just makes you realize why you love this whole art, this genre, this sport, this whatever this professional wrestling is. These guys were fantastic. I was watching it from a sports bar, and I was watching the people also because I was in the back, so people didn't know I was there, who I was or anything, so I was just kind of watching from the back, kind of hiding. And they had big screens everywhere, and people were watching, and I was watching the people as much as anything because I wanted to see their reaction. People just loved it. I mean, absolutely loved it. This was a hell of a match. It was so good to see. Just two guys who could flat out work. Good storylines, good emotion that are between it, between the two, but just two guys who could work, who don't need the bells and whistles, who don't need a million run-ins, who don't need a lot of fixing curtains around it and all kinds of things, fixing up. Just two guys who can go out there and work, and that's what they did. I thought it was a hell of a. I thought it was indeed a WrestleMania main event, which is saying a lot.
Well, it could feel like a main event at your house every night with Blue Chew. Guys, if your lady or your fella or that person that sends you an eggplant emoji at 2 a.m. is ready for better sex, then by God, you should be too. And that's where Blue Chew comes in. They've been on a mission for years to get you bricked up, build your confidence, and help you actually perform in the bedroom. Their new arousal-boosting formula, Blue Chew Gold, is helping millions of men have better sex in 2026. While most ED meds only focus on blood flow, Blue Chew Gold goes further by combining 2 ingredients for blood flow with 2 different ingredients for mental arousal and connection. So you're not just physically ready, you're actually in the mood. This type of innovation is why Blue Chew Gold is the #1 brand in erectile function. It's time for less talking, more rocking, less hanging, more banging, less thinking, more dinking. Okay, seriously, who wrote this? It's simple. Chew it and do it. Don't let your mind get in the way of a good time. Discover your options right now at BlueChew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Right now, when you buy 2 months of Blue Chew Gold, you get the 3rd for free with the promo code WRESTLE. That's promo code WRESTLE. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring today's podcast. So, John, why not go ahead and have 2 of our new friends jump on? Sinn Bodhi, one of the producers for Power Slap, and somehow the CEO, Frank Lamicell, is with us. Frank, nice to meet you, man. Thanks for jumping on with us.
Thanks to meet you guys. Appreciate you having me on.
So, hey, Frank, before we get started, you created Power Slap, right? That's what you were saying before we got on, right?
Yeah, I'll give you the history. So, a few years ago, Dana White was watching some slap videos online out of Russia. The guy who we watch these videos from, his name is the Dumpling. He's now with us at Power Slap, but he started kind of on his own out of Russia, and we all just love the videos. We've seen a lot of fights over here at the UFC, and when we watched the video, we kept coming back to it. So we said, what if we do this the right way? Apply all of the learnings of the last couple of decades that we have with UFC and turn it into a real sport, and that's what you got today.
And how long did it take you to develop it? I mean, when you first started, what is the difference? Say when you first started and you thought about it to what you got the finished product now. What was that progression and what changed?
We first started. We have an Apex building here next door as part of UFC headquarters. I think it was March of 2022. We brought out 50 or 60 guys. And, we literally had to build it from the ground up. So writing the rules, building the stage, working on the production, actually bringing guys in to see, what kind of talent they have. And we ran about 30 matches over 2 days. We would run one match, see how it went, all huddle up together, see what we needed to fix for the next one. And we did that over and over again until we felt like we had a product that was show ready. And then we launched on TBS with a reality show very similar to The Ultimate Fighter. And then from there, we've taken the show on the road. We've been at all these different venues, Vegas, Middle East, New Orleans. We're about to travel a few more times this year. And it's growing into something huge.
Well, it's been exciting to see the progression. And of course, this past weekend, it was a pro wrestling theme, and who better to help line up some of the talent than Sinn Bodhi. Sinn, how did all of our wrestling friends do in the big WrestleMania extravaganza in Las Vegas?
I think they did amazing. I mean, it takes a lot of testicular fortitude for both the guys and the girls to step up to the plate. I mean, this is a shoot, and this is a gamble, and you're gambling on yourself, and high stakes, high reward. There's big money involved. There's big eyeballs involved, big opportunities. And so everybody went for the brass ring, and I think they did great. From Jake Hager, Stun Marshall, Mecca Wolf, Haley J. The list goes on and on. Everybody did awesome. And I was kind of joking with JBL at the show, saying, you know, I have zero pressure if a promoter said, hey, get in the ring with whatever wrestler and just go wrestle on the fly for 60 minutes. I could do it in my sleep. What I was most stressed about was just making sure the legends had a great time. You know, when you look over your shoulder and you see the APA sitting there and Sergeant Slaughter and Bushwhacker and Jake the Snake and Boogeyman and Gangrel and the Rock and Roll Express, and the list goes on, and just making sure that they're happy. These are my peers, my brothers, my idols, my coaches. You know, there was a lot of the WWE PC coaches were there watching, and just making sure all the boys were happy was my biggest thing. And watching them all smile and hoot and holler was like the biggest reward for me. I was so proud of all the competitors, and I was so proud to host all those wrestling legends having a good time.
Yeah, it sounds like JBL had a great time, but maybe the wrestler who had the most fun this past weekend at Power Slap was the former WWE heavyweight champ, Jake Hager. He's with us here live. Jake, how's it going, man? How are you?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me on, guys.
How do you feel, Jake?
I feel good. I got a little bit of a shiner. Been resting up a lot, taking a lot of naps, trying to get the body to recover. It was a great fight week for me, great experience to go through. After the fight Friday night, I didn't go out or anything. I just kind of sat by myself, had a beer at the bar, and really reflected on the journey that got me to this point. And it was such a great opportunity for me, and I was able to capitalize on it.
Hey, Jake, we were all nervous for you. We were all there mainly to see you. You know, we had some other friends there. Mecca Wolf's a good friend. Haley J's a friend. You know, but we're there for you, man. And we were nervous as we could be for you for that fight. That first slap, it felt like your confidence went through the roof once you realized that you were not going to get hurt by his punch. Is that right?
Well, first off, let me say what a compliment it is to have so many Hall of Famers come and root for me and stand up for me. I mean, they always say in pro wrestling, like, the best compliment you can get is from the back, from the boys. So thank you guys. It really was an honor to have you guys there. And yeah, after that first slap, I was very, very happy. He's a big, strong guy. He hit me hard, but he was a little bit off. He was a little bit deep. And so I was able to eat it really well.
And how did you enjoy it? I mean, I know it sounds crazy to ask you how you enjoyed getting hit in the face, but guys who enjoy combat enjoy getting hit. It's crazy as that sounds. How did you enjoy the whole experience?
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was so much fun. I always look at pressure is a privilege. You have to earn that right to compete on those stages. And I really enjoyed it. I compare it to MMA a little bit, but really there's no stage like Power Slap. Like, you can hear the brutality, you can see the precision and technique in slow-mo, and then you just get to feel the raw emotion that just leads to great entertainment. It's a lot mixed into one, and it's really something special, I feel like.
Jack, how did you train for it? I call you Jack. I'm used to Jack Swagger. I called most of your matches in WWE as a commentator, so I'm used to calling you Jack Swagger. So Jake, I'm sorry, not used to that. How did you train for it? Because there's so many rules. The referee came up, was very kind to us. He explained to me and Ron all the rules, but you had to have your feet set. There's certain things you can't do. You can't raise your foot. A lot of it's body rotation. How did you train for it to throw a punch harder within the rules of the system?
Yeah, I think the easiest way to compare training is kind of like practicing free throws. You just do it over and over again, the same motion. You step into the box, you get your measure, you come up with your wind up, and then you set your feet, and then you do your swing. And I got great tips from Wolverine, a Hall of Fame power slapper, that just said, don't try to hit it hard at first. Just start slow and do it over and over again. Be accurate, be a sniper, and I think that's more important than like the power that you bring behind it.
And so, what's next, Jake? I know you obviously won in a huge fashion obviously got over like $1 million. Like your promo was excellent, by the way. As an old pro wrestler, I enjoyed the fact that you got over really well with the promo as well. But what's next? You got another fight? You stepping up in competition? What are you doing?
Yeah. I think right now I'm focusing on healing. I'm sure I'll be talking with Sinn and Frank soon about when they want to bring me back. I'll be more than happy to get back on that stage and prove that I belong. I'm sure it will be a step up in competition, and I think I'm going to grow really fast in between this fight and my second fight because I have the experience now. I have the training, and I'm only going to get better.
Well, Frank, you're here. You're the CEO. What's next for Mr. Hager?
Yeah, listen, like Jake said, I want him to heal up. He had an amazing first fight. Kind of did what we expected him to do. You know, he's a serious athlete with, cross-discipline background. This is what we do after every event. We come back into this war room that I'm in right now. We map out the next few events. We start picking fights, doing some matchmaking. And when Jake's ready, we're definitely going to get him back in there.
Frank, what is next for Power Slap? And I understand you guys are putting on a heck of a show as is, but obviously you've got ranked competitors, you've got champions, you got all this stuff. Where do you see it going? Where do you see it going, say, in the next few months? Where do you see it going toward certain big events of the year? Is there a certain progression that you guys are looking toward?
Yeah, so, one thing with Power Slap to keep in mind, it's a fully government regulated and sanctioned sport like MMA. So we go to different states, we get approvals to do the events there. The commissions of the states, they're the ones in control once the guys step on stage. We've historically done Power Slap in Las Vegas and the Middle East. We have partnerships with Saudi and Abu Dhabi where we do events over there. We just signed a 5-year partnership with MGM. So we'll be at MGM properties in Vegas for the next 5 years, which will allow us to grow. We were at Fontainebleau, which was an amazing home, but now we're Center Strip. Just makes it feel bigger. And for us, it's doing more events and taking on the road to get new fans to see it live, because the clips are one thing, and the clips are incredible. We do 1 billion views a month. We have over 30 million followers already, but the live event is really it's really an incredible show. So you got to take it to new places. And we're going to announce some new road shows here soon for this year. So we continue to grow it, continue to get great talent to be a part of it, and take it on the road for new fans.
And we've got talent coming in from all over the world in different sports crossovers, and we're going to go for different countries. And I mean, I don't want to get myself in trouble. I know Frank can't clothesline me from here. I'm safely in my home, but I will bite, scratch, claw. I want to see Power Slap on the White House lawn. I don't.
Wow.
I know that's a tall order, but
that's not happening this year. But
right.
Listen, we've identified some really cool spots to bring it to. In the next week, I'm going to announce a really big event for us overseas.
And I can't wait. I know what it is. I know the answer to that one, and I cannot wait.
Frank, what's the biggest misconception about Power Slap? That when someone is not familiar with it, maybe they've heard about it, what are they surprised to realize that, oh, I was wrong about this. I thought it was something different.
Yeah, one of the things is, a lot of people judge it based on the clips. And again, the clips on social and our broadcast is incredible. The same UFC team who produces the UFC broadcast produce our broadcast. We've never had someone come to the live show and said, ooh, I didn't like that, or ooh, that sucked. It's always the opposite. It's usually the people who are on the fence about Power Slap, then they come to the live event and they become fans and they want to come back. We invite a lot of content creators, influencers, celebrities to these things, and they absolutely love it. So I think that's one of the things, just getting more people to the live show. Probably the other misconception is that these guys the misconception is that they're not talented athletes, but the reality is a lot of them have a ton of talent. You have to train really hard for this, as Jake can attest to. There's real training. You could get better the more you train and the more experience you have. And we see that with a lot of our guys. So my advice to anyone who's kind of a doubter is just come to an event and then talk to me afterwards.
Frank, it just seems like this is made for, creators, for content. The biggest thing in wrestling or fighting or anything when you're trying to create stars is creating backstories. You don't have to create backstories. These are all big, tough guys. Our girls in this case, and nearly all of them are going to have some type of terrific athletic background. That's how they get here. You know, tough people, you know, rise to the occasion in different sports, and now they find a venue that they like. It just seems like that's made for you guys. You guys do such good personality profiles with the UFC, and of course the WWE on the other side of TKO does personality profiles so well. It just seems like this sport is made for the social media.
Yeah, you know, again, the clips are great, and there's a reason why they perform so well. You know, there's a lot of people are spending most of their time on this now, especially the younger demographic. So we feel like that younger demo is going to be huge. Is already big Power Slap fans, but will be huge Power Slap fans in the future. But yeah, to your point on the storytelling, I mean, that's our job as the promoter. We make fights between, you know, two guys or two girls that we think is important, has a reason for the fight. What's the story? Who they fight next? It all goes into, you know, the whole bread and butter of what we do.
Frank, why do professional wrestlers, why do they fit so well with Power Slap? Why was that a niche that you wanted to explore and start recruiting talent from? Why did it work?
They're tough guys and girls, man. There's a huge universe of wrestling athletes out there who get hit with chairs, thrown over ropes, elbowed in the face, kicked in the head, the whole thing. And on top of that, I think wrestling teaches them two really important things. One, you have to be super dedicated, training and learning. You're in the gym all the time. And, you know, a lot of the wrestlers have great stage presence and you know how to work the mic. And that's a good part of the entertainment aspect of Slap. So they seem to be a perfect fit. And Sinn has done a great job in bringing a ton of these guys and girls to me. And you could already see, like you guys, before we got on the call, the wrestlers fed pretty well at this event. I think they were 5-0 or 5-1, something like that throughout the card. So whether it's Jake, you know, the Johnny Magna has been, I think he's 3-0 in Slap already. He was incredible. Haley's awesome. Mecha Wolf was great. So seems like it's all making sense to, you know, continue to recruit from that world.
And even the wrestlers that didn't technically win still did great. Like Teal Piper didn't win. I want to say it was a point off. But I mean, everybody watching now knows Roddy Piper's daughter has a chin, and she is channeling that red-blooded craziness that only the Rowdy one had. So I mean, that was awesome, and every one of them did great.
Yeah, the other thing I would say too, guys, is like there's real money in this. You know, we pay the fighters well, and maybe someone like Jake fights 3-4 times a year. And, you know, I know wrestling is a tough business on the body where you're traveling to city to show over and over again. Some of you guys travel like 300 days a year, right?
We used to, yeah. The road record is getting better and better, but yeah, we used to spend 300 nights a year on the road.
Right. It's, you know, you do 4 fights to come to Vegas or some other location for a couple of weeks a year, and you can earn real money.
Sinn, tell us about the pro wrestling angle of this. I know you're sort of leading that department for recruiting. What other folks from the wrestling space do you think we'll see in Power Slap sooner rather than later?
So when I was hired, they, you know, Frank, Hunter, Dana, they all sort of explained to me, they said, look, we think wrestlers are an interesting avenue. Who can we get to scout these guys? And they know that I would fly out to some city somewhere, wrestle a local good guy or a bad guy, do seminars. So I'm a player coach, and I come from a shoot background. So watching some performers that I think, you know, would deserve an opportunity, but that I think would be guys and girls would be tough as nails, you know, who would fit the role, who's got heart. As Jake the Snake, as my coach would say, I can teach you everything to do in the ring. I can't teach you this. Like, they've got to bring that heart and that drive, you know, and I've got my eyes on plenty of guys and girls. Like we bring them to the UFC Apex, to the Meta Apex, to do combines, so we can sort of meet them before we put them on the shows, and not always, but a lot of the time. And then you get to see them practicing on the pads, hitting the sensors, seeing how hard their PSI is, and all sorts of different factors. But yeah, I mean, pro wrestlers is obviously, that's my obvious wheelhouse. But I mean, we're bringing in bare knuckle fighters, sumo wrestlers. I've got a girl on this next show coming in from, she did the Puerto Rican version of American Ninja Warrior called Guerrero Extremos. So we've got a lot of different performers. I've got Ugandan bodyguards. I've got Russian bare knuckle fighters. I've got all sorts of stuff. But pro wrestling seems to be a safe bet when you bring that personality as well as being a badass competitor.
Frank, when's the next Power Slap?
So we got 2 more coming up in Vegas that we've announced May 15th. That's Power Slap 20. That's a lightweight title fight. Robert Trujillo, he's our undefeated lightweight champion. And then we're part of International Fight Week here in Vegas, July 10th. That's Power Slap 21, 2 title fights on that card. More might be added. And then, like I said, I'm going to announce some new locations coming up real soon.
Where can people watch Power Slap on TV or at home, and where do they buy tickets?
Yeah, in U.S., Canada, Mexico, global. You can watch it on YouTube no matter where you are. Go onto our page. It's an amazing broadcast product too, so I encourage people to watch. Actually watch the live show. You can bet on Power Slap. It's legal. Sports betting is legal, so it's a really fun sport to bet. We have a bunch of TV deals in certain countries. Kind of depends what country you're in, but for the most part, anyone can go on YouTube and watch it live. And tickets are available on Ticketmaster.
I mean, as a wrestler, as a performer, I would say watching it live. We were joking the other night on the phone saying pro wrestling, Big Bird on Ice, and Power Slap are way better live. It's awesome online or on your TV, but to see it live, it's a whole other ball of wax.
The betting to me is the great thing about it, because you can handicap it so easy. You get two tough guys. You can figure out their record, but also it's over in about 5-10 minutes. So your bet goes like that. You don't have to wait 3 hours.
It's super fun to bet. It's actually kind of like a combination of horse racing and sports betting.
100%, yeah, and it happens like that.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Hey, Jake, just a little advice. Just if you ever need anybody to train with, you can go slap the shit out of Dutch Mantel. just go by and pound, Dutch. How you doing? Pound, yeah.
Oh my God.
Hair would go everywhere. Like hair would just fly off everywhere.
Spin his mustache like Daffy Duck looking down the barrel of a shotgun.
That's right.
He messaged me congratulations, and he said he wouldn't sign up for a 9-year-old to slap him like that. So.
I love Dutch. He is the absolute best.
Yeah.
Well, this was fantastic. Thank you, Sinn. Thank you, Frank, and congrats, Jake. We're looking forward to seeing you.
Congratulations, brother. I'm so happy for you. I think I was more nervous than you were.
I think I was too, as proud papa watching these guys and booking these guys and girls. Like my heart's coming out of my chest, making sure everybody's going to do great.
We all were sitting there rooting for Jake. We were wanting so badly for him to win. When the first punch came, we saw it didn't rock it. We're going to be okay.
And Jake, if you watch that footage, if you look up and you see us all, I mean, you'll see the Rock and Roll Express, Al Snow, Boogeyman, Gangrel, Jake the Snake, all of us. We all stood up and we put our hand on our chest when you did the We the People. Like I may or may not have been cutting onions. Like it really got me. I was so proud of you, brother. It was amazing.
Thank you. And like I said earlier, what an incredible honor. Just incredible. Like very humbling.
The rock and rolls are used to selling, but boy, oh boy, were they selling that night. Everything they were selling. They were blown away.
They weren't. They weren't. They just wanted free beer.
Yeah, could be. Well, there's such good sellers, you can't tell the difference, right?
Well, I was going to say, Ricky's used to selling. Robert's up there no selling.
That's right. Robert was waiting for the tag. Ricky's the one selling.
This was fantastic. Thank you guys so much. We're looking forward to the next Power Slap. Check it out on YouTube and pick up your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. All right, guys, check this out. Mother's Day is going to be here before you know it, and you got to give her something awesome. You got to give her something memorable. Real quick, pop quiz. What'd you give Mom last year for Mother's Day? I bet you don't remember, and even worse, I bet she doesn't remember. But with an Aura frame, you can capture and relive Mom's magic every day. There's clearly a photo or a picture of your mom or your wife or your family or your partner that always makes you smile, and Aura can help bring those to life. What you're going to appreciate is you've got free unlimited storage. You can add as many photos and videos as you want. You can also preload photos before it ships. Keep adding from anywhere, anytime. You can also personalize your gift and even add a message before it arrives. The gift box is included. Every frame comes packaged in a premium gift box. There's no price tag. You can share photos and videos effortlessly. All you've got to do is download the Aura app. It's free. And you can even text photos straight to your frame. How about that? It's also a top-rated app. It reached #1 in the App Store on Christmas Day in 2025, so you know it's the real deal. I think you're absolutely going to love the way that this gift makes you and your family feel closer. You know, sometimes we all grow up, we move out of mom and dad's house, or at least that's the plan, and things just aren't the same. You know, we don't spend as much time with them. We don't feel that closeness as much. There's a little bit of distance between us. Not with Aura. That's why this has been a real game changer with my family. I've given these to my mother-in-law. I've given these to a great aunt. This has been a home run every time I've gifted it. And I want you to try it for your mom just in time for Mother's Day. Why not make Mother's Day special? Aura Frames can help. Named #1 by Wirecutter, you can save on the gifts that mom loves by going right now to auraframes.com. For a limited time, listeners can get $25 off their best-selling Carver mat frame with the code WRESTLE. That's auraframes.com. Use the promo code WRESTLE and support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply, but seriously, go do it right now, just in time for Mother's Day. That's auraframes.com, auraframes.com. Use the promo code WRESTLE. What mom wants more than anything else is to be included and be a part of your life. Share those memories together and do it and save some money at auraframes.com with the promo code WRESTLE. John, I can't lie. I'm fired up, man. You know, I've had a good time watching Curtain Jerkers for the past several weeks. And boy, do we have a special treat up our sleeves right now. The owner, proprietor of Maple Leaf. Man, you want to talk about a resurgence. For years and years, we knew there was the Tunney office in Toronto.
That's right.
Scott D'Amore has taken the helm, and MLP is here to stay. Maple Leaf Pro. It's going to be a fantastic show on TSN. It's right around the corner. He's going to have an all-star roster. He's got partnerships with seemingly every wrestling organization in the world. And somehow, some way, you and Cassio talked into telling some crazy stories that I can't wait for people to hear.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Scott D'Amore has done an incredible job up there. You know, I've never been in the old Maple Leaf Gardens. I always wanted to go there. You know, certain arenas you always want to be in. You know, that's one of the ones. And it was great to talk to Scott. He's doing a fantastic job up there. And you don't know where they're headed. You know, it's just you're right. They got all kinds of partnerships. They're drawing huge crowds. It's a fun program up there, and it's great to talk to Scott.
First class production. It's going to feel big time. You're going to love it. Can't wait for you to check out MLP. But right now, how about a little Curtain Jerkers with Scott D'Amore?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming back with Curtain Jerkers. I am JBL, John Layfield, joined as always by my co-host, the Cassette Kid. And we have got... What is it?
Cassie.
That's right, the Cassette Kid. We have got Canada's greatest treasure. It ain't Bret Hart. It is Mr. Scott D'Amore.
How do you guys know each other?
He knocked me out a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we start every episode.
That's what I did with Cassette Kid.
Why is he still here then?
I don't know.
I'm not going to remember this tomorrow.
Nobody knows.
I'm in concussion protocol right now. Every guest we have is like, yeah, he knocked me out one time.
Yeah, we rode there together and then he knocked me out.
Wait, go ahead.
He hurt my arm.
What?
Yeah, I know. My face does a lot of damage to that arm.
John, what do you remember about it?
Well, he hurt my arm. That's what it was. Yes.
Where were we? What city?
I believe it was Toronto, wasn't it?
I worked with John twice, right? I worked with Justin Hawk Bradshaw. That was the first one, and it sucked because he went out there and wrestled a certain somebody, I won't say the name, and the match didn't go good. So I had already been paid. I already had God, I used to have so much heat because Chief used to pay me $500 a night, which is a lot of money for a job.
Chief did, really?
Yeah. And Gurria used to get so mad.
Oh, Gurria was cheap.
Oh,
I love Tony, but he's cheap.
When Gurria found out what Chief paid me, he was mad at me for 3 years. And it's like, was I supposed to go no? After Chief gives
Tony
me the money,
has a great...
I'll go back to Arnold and give him the money back? Is that...
Tony has a great toupee, but he's had it for years. Gurria's got the best hair.
He's got great accent,
but
great
he's cheap.
Hair.
Oh. Yeah, he is cheap.
Oh, yeah, he was mad at me for 3 years. You're not worth 500. You know my health, and I had to work for 500. Yeah, first time he was my agent, he sat me down and explained to me about a lawnmower he got out of the garbage. and how he saw it by the street.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah.
He's like, you need to
Yes.
save your money. Like all these guys, it doesn't matter how much you make, it's how much you save.
Yes.
And I was driving, and there was a lawnmower, and I went and I stopped, and I put it in my trunk, and I brought it to the garage, and it took me a few weeks of going out there and taking it with, but it started working, and I cut my grass with it now. And all I took it was Tony Garea still cuts his own fucking grass.
Yeah, and that is a typical Tony Garea story. He would walk up to you in the middle of his own story and start telling you the story, and then he wouldn't even finish and walk off. And you'd like, I have no idea what that man just said to me. But it seemed to be entertaining and seemed to be important.
And yeah, I'm still waiting to find out what happened with him and the Samoans.
That's what it's.
Wait. First of all, I've never seen him laugh like that.
Oh my God, I had so much
I've
fun
never
with
made
Tony
you
Garea.
laugh like that. That was good.
Yeah, well, he's funny.
I know, but tell me about this.
You're not as funny.
I mean, the nice thing is, people always say, who are the two most badass people who hit you the hardest in the ring in your career? And to sit in between the two of them, JBL and Big Van Vader, that's just an awesome night for me.
That's right.
Full circle.
That's right.
Y'all may not recognize me without my mask on. I smell the same.
Leon, God rest his soul, was always good to me. At one point, he did that goofy reverse power bomb where he picked you up and then face planted you. And they got mad because he couldn't get around my legs. Because I mean, even when I wasn't fat, I still had big legs. So he always had to take the finish on somebody else. So the only finish I ever took from him was the moonsault. He was always great, but boy, would he beat the fuck out of my partners. Can you swear on here?
Yeah.
You can, if you're talking about Leon White, you can. Yeah. Leon we're riding in Florida one time, and he's sitting there, and Leon was lovey-dovey when he was under the influence. He'd hug you and want to be all over you, and that's not a good thing when a man is 400-something pounds. And so he's all lovey and he goes, kid, because he loved me. I guess the football, but I don't know what it was, but he treated me like a younger brother. He's very, very nice to me. I love Leon, good guy. And he goes, I got to put over Taker at Royal Rumble. And I said, you think? And he goes, yeah. He goes, you think he could, if I did a moonsault, he could catch me in midair and give me a tombstone? And I said, oh, hell yes. I said, Taker's a big, strong sumbitch. I said, he could do that easily. No, I said, listen to me. He's going to love this. Just call it on the fly. Don't tell him.
Call it on the fly.
So I've got him convinced he can do it, but he does not want it. He can't sit on it. So we're in Tampa the next day. We're in Florida driving, and he's sitting there, and I see him talking to Taker, and he's sitting there, and he's telling him this spot. He's going, I'm going to do this moonsault, 400-something pounds. You're going to catch me. Give me the tombstone. The place is going to go banana, as Pat Patterson. It's going to go banana. They're going to go crazy. It would have impaled him on the ring. It would have killed him. And Taker looks at him, or doesn't look at him. He's sitting there like this. Taker pats him on the leg and walks straight out of the dresser. Doesn't even say a word. Doesn't say a word, just walks out. And Leon looks at me. I said, he loved it. I walked down the hall and I see Taker and he's going, what? Yeah, and he asked me if I'd been riding with Leon.
By the way, if Vader would have did a moonsault and Taker caught him and did a tombstone, probably one of the greatest spots we've ever seen, right? You're a genius.
I'm an absolute genius. That's right.
I mean, it's really a win-win for you, whether he lives or whether he dies.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And then when Taker gets killed, which I'll feel bad about because he's a really good guy and everybody loves him, I'll tell everybody, that was my idea.
And it opens a spot.
That's right. It opens up a huge spot for everybody. Yeah. And
you're always thinking about the business.
And Leon will get fired because he killed him, so it opens up two spots. Really. It opens up the top heel and the top baby face.
They got to give one to you.
That one of them. I got a shot at one of each. Yes.
So I got it. So your job is to laugh at our stuff, even if it's not funny.
Yes.
I
like that.
Ed McMahon.
Finally, somebody gets my spot. Thank you. That's why you're a creative genius in the business.
Oh, yeah.
You get it. So go ahead.
Go ahead and do what?
Do something funny so I can fake laugh at it.
Oh, God. Well,
John, what do you remember about seeing him first?
Absolutely nothing.
The one thing I want to ask him about, there is a story, and this kind of fits into Curtain Jerkers about Japan. Okay. And it doesn't involve Godzilla or Little Short Arms, but it involves some guys looking out windows.
Oh, your streak is not going to end anytime soon.
Yeah.
So I'm on tour with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and God knows how I'm there because everybody there can work except me. And I get on the bus. See, he laughs at the shit that ain't funny. And I learned
that's me in the podcast. We're on the show.
The thing is, he's high. He's on drugs.
Well, that's perfect.
That's Corey.
I guarantee the more high you get, the funnier we are.
Toss me some drugs. All right, go ahead.
No, so I get on the bus, and right, you get.
We have some of our guys. They're on crack cocaine. that's something different.
You got to diversify. So a certain wrestler, gets on the bus and is like shaking his head. And I was like, what? And he goes, "This is the most embarrassing thing in my life." And it's like, there's no way it is. Like, I've known you a long time. There's no way this is the most embarrassing. He goes, well, I mean, I was like really giving it to myself, in the window, right? Like, you're on the 36th floor of the hotel. You're overlooking the city, and I'm just beating myself, like I owe me money.
Looking out the window?
Looking out the window at the city. It's a very pretty city. Some would say beautiful, I guess. So
okay.
So now that's bad enough, but you see two other guys go, oh man, I did it too. And I was like, okay, it's like, why are you sharing this? I go, it's not that bad. And they go, did they clean your windows this morning? And I went, oh fuck. So all three of them just there, buck naked, deciding in front of that big floor to ceiling glass, just giving it to themselves. And here comes the window cleaners strolling up.
Wait. Wait, there's multiple guys.
All the Gaijin boys at the Tokyo Dome Hotel.
All at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was coordinated. It's just a thing they do, I think.
All different rooms.
Yes, thankfully they were all independently handling their business.
It actually would make more sense if they were in the same room, but they're all in different rooms.
Why would that make more sense?
How would that make more sense?
Because it seems more bizarre that there's multiple dudes just looking at Tokyo, deciding to...
That's a whole different district. That's not by the Tokyo Dome.
Oh, the Tokyo Dome is not near Tokyo.
No. It's not near where all the guys get in one room
and
do their business.
Oh, it's a different venue.
Yeah, that's a different spot.
John, have you been to the Tokyo Dome?
I have. I've been to Japan, I don't know, 30 or 40 times, but I've never come across this. I guess
no pun intended.
Never came across it.
No pun intended.
I guess I missed out. I don't...
You never looked out your window to the city and decided...
Apparently it's a very erotic thing to look out the city and go, man, there's some sexy buildings out there.
Yeah, the best part is, you must know Tiger Hattori.
Yes.
Right? So Hattori doesn't miss a beat when he finds out all of his Gaijin boys were doing their business. In front of the window, he goes, and the window cleaner, see, you do the business? Yeah? And they're like, yeah. And he goes, did you ask them come do inside of glass too?
Hello, Jimmy Cornette. How you doing?
The views that I'm about to express are not necessarily those of anybody else but me, but they ought to be, and as a matter of fact, they probably are.
You were supposed to book me at Smoky Mountain, and you never did. I'm still mad at you.
What is a curtain jerker to you?
That seems to me to be when someone unveils something, or probably they reveal something that's been kept a secret for a long time.
What is a curtain jerker? I think that a curtain jerker is somebody who's standing behind a curtain, wanking it off.
I think a curtain jerker is like a peeping Tom, okay? A weirdo peeking behind something and shaking off. That's my answer.
What is your favorite JBL moment?
You know one? My favorite JBL moment of all time is when Rey Mysterio beat him at WrestleMania and he had to retire. That was the greatest JBL moment of all time for all of us.
The wrestler that everybody tells me I look like the most would probably be The Rock.
JCW Lunacy. New episodes every Thursday night at 7 p.m. on YouTube. For over 25 years, JCW has delivered the very best in pro wrestling entertainment, bringing fans deep storytelling drama, gut-busting comedy, and unbelievable in-ring action. From wild characters to unforgettable rivalries, don't miss a single moment. Tune in every Thursday night at 7 p.m. on YouTube. JCW Lunacy.
Man, I love what you guys are all doing, bro. You guys have the coolest stories to tell. It's like Shit, tell them, right? Like, tell it.
Right, yeah,
tell
it's
it
just
how it
fun.
went down.
And the statute of limitations has run out now.
Yeah, man.
We can tell stories from 30 years ago. Nobody gets hurt.
And, I had the pleasure of getting clothesline by you, which was cool. But you produced a segment for me when we were in the WWE.
Yeah, sure did.
Which was a crazy one.
Yeah, that's right.
Dude, we were all for a hotel room, me, you, Hunter.
Yeah.
Rusev and his wife.
That's right.
And they stripped me down to my underwear.
That's right. That's right.
And
That's
beat
right.
they beat the hell out of me. And I mean, it was an ass kick, as you know. And nobody knows behind the camera.
Right, that's right.
In the room.
That's right.
As I'm getting killed.
Yeah.
And you can only do this in one take because we're only paying.
That's right.
We're only paying for
That's
one
right.
hotel
Because things
room,
get
brother.
broken. You have to do it in one take.
Yep.
It has to be pretty much live.
And we did it live, if you recall. And that's being broadcast to the world through a hotel room.
That's right.
And I get killed.
No safety net.
Nothing. And then I get killed and dragged.
That was great.
Dragged through glass and in my underwear. And I had to call my mom before I did that and let her know. Back at the arena, we all went.
Yeah.
And we saw Vince, and he gave us the.
Yeah. He loves that stuff.
He loves that stuff.
Yeah.
What do you remember about early on meeting Mr. John Bradshaw Layfield here? You said you worked with the Hawk.
Dutch. Well, actually, that same tour. Because I was like, this one. I was like, I thought I made it. Chiefs paying me $500 a night, which is $1 million.
Sure.
Oh yeah, that's
by the way, tonight it's great.
and by the way, that's more than we're making for TV. It is.
Sign me up.
It is. Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're flying back after the last show, and I get to sit next to Dutch.
Yep.
You know, and he's in the aisle. I'm sitting there in the jobber's seat in the middle, and. He's gonna give me some words. And this is actually how I met Dutch. He was married to John, and he sit there and he goes, hey, watch this. Flight attendant gets close, and he's like listening to everything, and he heard that they were out of orange juice or whatever. So he's like, oh, can I get an orange juice? And she had told the person 2 rows up, you know what? Let me finish everything and go back and get the orange juice. He asked for the orange juice. She said, oh, I'll get at the end. He goes, oh, ma'am, I'm diabetic. And if I don't have oranges, I'm really scared I'm gonna crash and pass out. So she goes to get it. Dutch at this point opens up her cart and just starts throwing all the cereal boxes, like the little single serve, into his bag. He goes, I do this all the time. He goes, I'll tell you what, he goes, there's a lot of the boys that made more money than me, but I'll tell you something. It ain't what you make, it's what you save. And I'll tell you what, I ain't paid for cereal since I got into business.
That's true.
That's
that's Dutch.
We used to do creative at Double J's house, right? This beautiful house out in the lake in Hendersonville. We'd do there, and sometimes we'd go and we'd bring the boards on the party pontoon, just float across the beautiful lake there in Hendersonville. And we go this one time, nice place on the water for lunch. And Rudy Charles, we just ref AJ's match there. He was our senior official and our creative assistant in TNA. You know, we go there for this thing, and we all get our bills, and Dutch just hands his bill to Rudy, who is by far the low man on the totem pole, making the least amount of money. And he goes, well, this one can be on you, Rudy. And Rudy goes, I'm buying your lunch? Now, the best part is we all have fucking expense accounts except Rudy. So, like, why Dutch won't pay for it, I don't know. And Rudy goes, why would I pay for it? And Dutch goes, oh, I guess you forgot about Burger King. And Rudy sits there and goes, what? And Dutch goes, we were in Orlando 2 months ago after the show. We stopped at Burger King and you wanted a Coke. And I said, don't worry about it. And I paid for it.
So now he's got the whole meal.
Yeah.
Did he pay for it?
Rudy?
Yeah.
Fuck no. We can barely pay him enough to pay for his own meal.
You should have seen like young wrestlers go talk to Dutch. They go, Dutch, what do you think? And he goes, kid, there's only 2 things you can't do. And they go, what's that? He said, baby face and heel. And he just walk off. Dutch was so funny.
And this is another one. Hey, ask me if I've seen Cisco's last match.
Have you seen Cisco's last match?
Fuck, I sure as hell hope so.
Oh, yeah. Dutch is so funny.
Rest in peace, Dutch.
He ain't dead.
Well, y'all keep saying he was great.
I mean, I haven't talked to him for a few months, but he's still alive.
We think, yes.
Yeah.
I know he's alive because if not, we would have ran a memorial because those always draw.
Those always draw. Would you be at his memorial?
Oh yeah,
Scott's definitely there.
Oh yeah, I love Dutch. Dutch is a good human being. He's cheap as fuck though. I would go and I'd order a steak, but I don't like salad. So Dutch would eat my salad. He'd get water and he'd get lemons and some sugar and he'd make lemonade and he'd eat my salad and he'd make his lemonade. I didn't say he tossed my salad. I said he ate my
I didn't say anything.
So Dutch would never pay for a meal.
He doesn't have to. He's got cereal back in the room.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, tons of cereal.
Dutch makes Gorilla look like Elon Musk.
Dutch came up to do an appearance, I'm going to say 7-8 years ago. I got him to stay at my house. He's like, God damn, this is a hell of a house. He goes, you want a roommate?
You want a roommate? He was serious too.
Oh, because it'd be free.
Yeah, he's in. Scott, do you ever think you'll get back in the wrestling business?
Well, I still am. Thanks for paying attention. Fuck. Do you think you'll ever follow it?
I'm sorry, I couldn't afford a co-host.
You'd be better off on your own.
Oh, yes, I would.
You should do something back in Canada, you know?
That'd be a great fucking idea. We should call it Maple Leaf or something.
But I got nothing. I was trying to set you up to promote your promotion. I don't even know why you're here. This isn't Canada. Why are you down this far? We're in McDonough, Georgia. And you're here for some reason.
Well, 1FW's here. Conrad Thompson is
here. It's Eric Bischoff Power Plant Weekend. How do you feel about that?
I got to see Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker, who terrorized people over in that power. I came here specifically, one, I wanted to say hi to him, but two, I just wanted to see if he murdered somebody.
And he did.
Y'all did not get the full power plant experience because none of you threw up and none of you went to the hospital.
Now, did you ever have to train under...
Oh, you did? We had one throw up.
Okay. Like, that was such sweet niceness out of Sarge. Like, Jody Hamilton, who, like, God rest he's actually gone, so we can say that. You know,
Chimmel is not, unfortunately. We're upset about that.
Jody would call me up and say, "God damn kid, come on down to the power plant, you know." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Is there a tryout going on?" He'd be like, "Well, there is, but I'll keep Sarge away from it." He never kept Sarge away from anybody. And we would take bets. There'd be 100 people in there that had signed up for their tryout, and Sarge would go, "By the time I'm done with them, there ain't gonna be 3 of them by lunch." And I mean, there was days, it's supposed to be a 3-day tryout. So the way Sarge looked at him, if he ran them all out by lunch, he had 2.5 days off.
Oh, that was his goal, yeah.
The greatest quote ever is Pez Watley. Were you in back when Pez Watley? Go ahead with the Pez Watley.
So, does anybody here know Pez Watley?
Make great candy.
What is the watch you're wearing?
It's a cassette kid.
It's a Casio.
Jesus. So Pez Watley, Shasta Watley, but a long story, and it's fucking good. Go back and YouTube his stuff. He was one of the instructors at the power plant. You had Sarge, who beat everybody up, and Pez was just the voice of wisdom. He'd kick out of a deep slumber / passing out after a few drinks to lunch, and he would, the wisdom he's throwing, and these kids just aren't catching it. It's bouncing right off their skulls because none of it is penetrating.
Same thing happens with Cassette Kid.
I can tell.
It's like throwing frisbees to a guy sitting in a chair. Like, damn it.
So I'm going to stay on course here. So there's a particularly bad individual in the ring attempting to wrestle. Pez kicks out, gets up, and goes into the ring, and he just says, I got to ask you something. I got to ask you something. He gets down almost face to face with the kid and goes, I need to know who was wrestling on the TV when you looked at that and you thought, you could do this, that you could do what we do, because something's wrong. I need to go talk to that person.
I wish he'd have got an answer. Like, it's so frustrating with these old guys. Who were you watching that made you think you could do this? I got to hear a name.
Well, who was it for you? Who was it for you?
I didn't have a job.
Who was it for you? What made you want to go in the wrestling business?
Well, I mean, look, I love wrestling. My brother's baseball coach was a small-time wrestler who ended up training me, Doug Chevalier, the Canadian Destroyer. But the moment I decided, look, I could watch wrestling and see Hulk Hogan and all these people, but there's no way that I'm going to look at Hulk Hogan and look at myself and go, I can do that. So the guy, and again, God rest his soul, because he's actually not with us right now, and he's a legend. But when I found on the UHF channel there, NWA Wrestling, and I saw Dusty Rhodes, I was like, okay. Yeah, I might not be Hulk Hogan, but there's a shot I can be this dude, like this, like, and Dusty just like, I looked at him, I was like, this is the man. Like, he's just
That's a lot of us, yeah.
Yeah. It didn't work for you.
I mean,
well, it did because you
I'm in the same ring and you hurt me, Vader.
I mean, emotionally.
Yes, exactly. All right, before we get out of here, we have a game we're going to play with you. Are you ready?
Wait a minute. Let him tell us about Maple Leaf Wrestling.
Okay.
You host the thing and are the color.
It's unbelievable.
Well, look, for anyone who hasn't seen it, Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, we've relaunched the historic Maple Leaf brand. You can look it up. Jack Tunney, who was referenced on the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
His family ran Toronto for years. We're back doing it up in Canada. And, we've had a bunch of great people up there, and I think 2026 is going to be a great year.
So what was the difference between, like, say, the Montreal territory? We had like guys like Yvonne Robert, and you had the Rougeau brothers that kind of grew up there and became stars. And you had Toronto, like Whipper, Billy Watson, Bruno, different guys that kind of came in, became stars that came in to the territory. It seemed like two kind of different territories. What was the difference?
Well, one was French. That's one. Well, the other thing was really the Quebecois and the Grand Prix guys. They really had their own crew, right? And I mean, you would have Edwin Carpentier often as the world champion. They had their own crew that ran around and did their own thing. Whereas the Tunnies, really, they always did partnerships. So whether it was with, Jim Crockett Promotions and bringing up people from down in the Carolinas and everything, they imported the majority of their guys. Like they would have Mosca and they'd have Tony Parisi and their homegrown guys. But the majority of the card was fly-ins from other territories. So that really the big difference. I think the Grand Prix was a functional week after week promotion, whereas for the most part, Maple Leaf Wrestling ran Maple Leaf Gardens. And then if they're running the Gardens, they'll run their TV somewhere else. So they ran a lot less shows and relied more on outside promotion people.
Would you have brought in Leon Watt III?
Fuck no.
It's time. Say it one time. So go like this. It's time. It's time. I fear no man. I feel no pain.
Yeah. I don't know why you're making fun of me for not knowing the product. I love MLW, Maple Leaf Wrestling.
And now you're going to start Dawkins.
Okay, sorry.
MLP.
Oh, MLP.
Yes.
Well, who do we know from MLP? Who's got some straps? Like, sell us on MLP, because right now none of us have heard of it.
Well, I think everybody here, other than you, might have. Well, let me tell you something, Cassio, you shitty watch motherfucker. If you tune in and you watch Maple Leaf Wrestling, you're going to see the Maple Leaf champion, Josh Alexander. You're going to see the women's champion, Giselle Shaw. Alexander. You're going to see the Good Brothers, probably drunk. Who knows what they'll do in their window? Allegedly. How's that for you?
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm
talking about right
there. Hit him with it. It's time.
It's time. I
fear no man.
It's time for me to get a new shirt for the next episode, apparently. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Scott D'Amore! That's fantastic.
I love that you threw your script away.
Yeah, fuck it.
I'm sorry.
There's only so much you can do.
I'm sorry.
John, what are we doing here today? Signing a few autographs, some great fans that are all around here having a great time. How you doing, young man? How are you? Good. Yeah. Ben! We did the thing together. What thing was that? I got a good deal on autographs. You're going to charge me? I'll sign an autograph for $500. You're charging me. But a combo I'll give you for $800. $800? Yeah. Only because JP didn't do shit for me. Oh, that's what your name stands for. That was just banging Longhorns. What's wrong with banging Longhorns? That's what we do in Texas. You don't remember me? Texas guys. Go ahead.
Where'd you go to Abilene Christian?
Of course. Go Longhorns.
I didn't end on good terms there.
You didn't?
Yeah. Actually, I did. I'm the Hall of Fame there.
So can we get a picture?
Yeah, it'll be $500.
Is he here?
Yeah, he's here. Take card.
Barney, son of a bitch.
It's the good colleague.
That was a good colleague.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, shit, yeah. He's related to the great colleague. They're both from Punjab. I knew I recognized him.
Well, JBL, another fine edition of Curtain Jerkers in the books. This time with our new buddy, Scott D'Amore.
We're making all kinds of friends. I mean, just making all kinds of buddies, all kinds of pals, hearing all kinds of stories about alone time, self-pleasure, and all kinds of things that I really don't care to hear.
I know.
No, actually, I kind of do care to hear because it's really wild shit. Some of this stuff just never occurred to me that stuff like this actually happens.
We somehow continued the streak of masturbation coming up in an episode. We're not trying to. We have no notes, as you can tell.
No.
And if we did, none of them would say masturbation.
The first one that happened surprised both of us. When Hornswoggle brought that up, we were teeing up we were teeing up something completely different. The trash can spot and the rooster spot. We put the rooster under the ring with him. That's what we're teeing up. And next thing you know, we're into some alone time that we didn't really want to talk about. And
it has not let up.
And it went viral. And next thing you know, there's a lot of alone time going on, and we don't quite understand it. Now there's a window washer, a Godzilla, and a mating call. I don't know what all's going on, but there was some kinky shit that happened in that last episode.
And the weird part is, as you can tell by watching these folks, these were filmed at different cities, different locations, different nights.
Yeah.
Most of the guests did not even meet or cross paths, and yet all of them tell us about flogging the mule by the time the bell rings.
Flogging the mule just keeps coming up, and we don't script any of this. We have no idea what's going to happen. We have none. So I'm sitting there signing, with Ron Simmons this weekend at WrestleCon. Everybody's come, a lot of people come. Bradshaw 316. I just stole your fucking podcast, but Bradshaw 369 is quit flogging your mule. I mean, flogging your mule apparently is a pastime of a lot of people in weird places.
Well, some people just get bored, and you just got to spice it up.
Bored?
Sometimes you ever lay on your other hand.
No, stop. No, that's time to fuck out. No, don't say No, don't start off with I don't know.
Okay, all right. Well, we're going to digress. First, did anybody make you sign a curtain, a clothes hanger in Vegas? I almost said a curtain.
Thank God, no. No, there was no coat hangers. There were some Bradshaw 369 comments about flogging your mule. There's a lot of Bradshaw 316 about I stole your fucking podcast, but no, there's no coat hangers being signed. Thank God. Yes,
that's when we'll know it's went too viral. But there's no putting it back in the can the day you sign a clothes hanger.
I don't know how you'd sign one, actually. I mean, they're pretty small.
Little tiny.
Right.
Maybe it's like the dry cleaner one with the paper on it, and you can sign on it. There we go. Now, look, next week, chaos will ensue. I don't even know if we're allowed to announce it, but we are. Next week, Jimmy Wang Yang and his conspiracy theories. And then we all take a field trip, John.
Yes, we do. And I want to bring this is really important because with Elon Musk being a big wig, especially right down there in the great state of Texas, which is friendly with Alabama. We're Alabama and Texas all friendly. Yeah. Everybody hates Oklahoma. That's a separate issue. But all this stuff about they just went to the moon and all this stuff, 100% bullshit. And we've got proof of it next week. I'm
wearing my NASA shirt in support. Don't you lump me in with this. You and Jimmy Wang Yang are going to get in.
You're in on this. The moon landing fake and phony.
Don't do it.
Bunch of baloney.
And then we're going to take a field trip on somewhere
Rugby's
you would
big,
never.
rugby's big. Everybody knows that rugby's rigged. They run. They kiss. Never mind. Yeah, I saw Bushwhacker. We had a rugby song that we wrote about rugby players, and they wrote a song about NFL football players on a European tour about how NFL was fake, and we wrote a song about how rugby was fake. We made a very obscene song about it, but it was very bad.
I've actually one time at the bar, I think on your birthday, you just started singing it, but we didn't know the context.
That's right. It was in honor of the Bushwhackers, who now is
you said, hey, let's just see if there's any rugby players in here, and started singing it loud.
That's right. Yes.
There were not. Thankfully,
yes.
There were not.
Yes. Yeah. I once made fun of the whole rugby team, the whole rugby national team that was on the front row when we're in Australia. And when I got to the back, they said, hey, some guys want to see you. And I said some really bad stuff that you would get canceled for today. and I'm a huge rugby fan. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So I get back there, and I walk in, and it's the entire national Australian rugby team is waiting on me. And I walk in there, and I thought, boy, this could end real badly. I mean, this could be like one of the worst days of my life. And the door shut behind me. I thought, well, here we go.
Here we go.
And as soon as I did, they go, that was great. That was awesome. They took me out that night. About 4 hours later, they're doing naked cannonballs off a roof into a pool. It was the craziest night I've ever been a part of. It was wild.
Did you do a naked cannonball?
Well, I ain't going to let them do it by themselves. Yes. Yeah, of course I did. That shit hurt.
Yeah, you got to watch your angle of entry there.
Oh, my God. You like bring your legs up like that and go into the water. Bam. They go, whoo-hoo. What, buddy? Whoo, buddy.
Welcome to the team. All right. Well, naked cannonball.
We were on an international flight one time with a bunch of the national teams, and I thought they were going to be drinking like crazy, and they didn't. We were like flying to Australia or South Africa or somewhere, and I finally went over to them, and I said, guys, I figured you guys would be like party animals. They said, no. Last flight we were on, we were flying international. One of the guys got drunk and climbed into the closet to get away from all the other guys because he was too drunk, and when they landed, they couldn't find him. So they like searched forever. He was in the closet with underneath a bunch of coats. So finally they said, yeah, passed out, so they couldn't drink.
When your friend gets lost on a plane, that's pretty drunk.
Yeah, exactly. They landed, and he's in the closet, and he's like covered up in coats. He was hiding from the other guys, and they couldn't find him. They go, where could a passenger possibly have disappeared to on a plane?
By the way, we've all been there, not on a plane, but at a party when you go, I can't make a big deal. I just have to disappear from this party right now. I'm at my limit, and they're going to try to get me to stay. I just need to disappear.
That's
somehow.
right. Yeah. They can call it Irish goodbye. They can call it whatever the hell they want to, but it's just like, you're like, hey guys, where's the restroom? and you're gone. You're at that point, you're gone.
Get another drink. Be right back.
I'll be right back, guys. You guys need anything? I will see you in about 2 weeks.
Conrad has said before, we were at his house and I offered to get him and some guest drinks. We were day drinking the whole deal. And I was like, hey, I'll go get those. And he said after an hour, he decided to walk downstairs to see where I was. And I was in the guest bed asleep. I did that exact thing. Do y'all want anything? I'll be right back.
I'll be right back.
Because we don't even care about the drinks. Just you got to come back upstairs, which is always bad.
That bed looks really comfortable.
If you return to a party, it's never going to end well.
Never. It's never a good idea to go back. Ever.
No.
Ever.
If you have left the party, do not go back to the party.
That's bad idea genes on. I mean, that's really bad idea genes. Like, hey, I think if I go back, it'll be fine. No. Just
arrested, some fights, naked cannonballs, something's going down, coat hangers. You don't know. It's just not going to be a good party if you go back.
I still don't understand the coat hanger. That's the craziest thing in the world to me. That really bothers me. Not like that bother me, but that's nuts to me. That's crazy.
That's nuts.
That's your comedic response?
That's nuts.
That's nuts. That's nuts. Busted nuts.
See, it's full circle around here.
Yeah, we got to sell a chalupi is what we got to sell.
Don't do it. All right, this has been another edition of Curtain Jerkers. Thank you.
It's been another edition of Full Circle Jerk is what
Scott
it's been.
D'Amore, he's your friend. I don't think he's very friendly with me, but he is your friend for sure. And then next week, Jimmy Wang Yang plus a field trip. Not only do we get into conspiracy theories, we got a field trip for the boys as well. So it's going to be fun.
Moon landing's fake.
I did not say it. Go NASA. Woo! Woo!
You know, Michael Hayes thought Glenn Armstrong had a moonwalk. Michael Hayes thought Glenn Armstrong had a moonwalk.
Are we still on?
I don't fucking know. I'm just telling you that Michael Hayes thought Glenn Armstrong had a moonwalk.